Right. Thank you guys so much for your patience. I, as you can tell, was just hopping out of the shower and I looked at my phone. I was like, oh shit, it's 4. I gotta go. So I sprinted. So you're gonna have to deal with the wet hair for a little bit here. But thank you guys again for your patience. Good to see you all. Thanks for the early birds who are here to join us to talk all things in a totally normal, calm week for Xbox. A lot to get into today, y'all. So again, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you so much. Let's see. We got Ice Cap Lord in the building right away. Wolf Bear is here as always, as is Francisco. Joey, Dr. Lupo, good to see you, bro. Plasma Snake is here. Nurse Mayo is in the building. Let's go. Prince Zachariah, thank you for being here. Sorry, I almost butchered your name there. Venky, what's going on? Maddie, why were you mogging me in your thumbnail? Uncharted Wolf, I don't know. Sometimes we got to get a little creative, you know? Sometimes we got to break out something a little bit different. I had that picture for that thumbnail for a while, but it always looked awkward. I looked very goofy in that photo, but it just felt right for this one. But what's going on, everybody? Good to hear you all. Have you all here. Flipping my sentences. Jaco says, surely they don't shut down Arcane and Blade. I mean, we get to sit down for a couple hours today and have a nice extensive conversation about which ways Xbox can go with things. Parker, good to see you as well here, my friend. Thanks for always being in the streams. Red Bandit, good to see you. Josiah, good to see you. Tyler Wood is here. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. It low-key has aura. Well, you're very nice about that, Uncharted Wolf. I appreciate you, dude. I don't know if I got aura in that picture, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Me and my corny ass have an aura. Okay. Let's see here. We've got ourselves our first super chat. Siobhan says, let's go Knicks. Hopefully my Yankees, Jets, and Rangers win a championship next. Xbox seems to be going down like the Spurs. Yeah, the last minute choke, right? We have this beautiful showcase, and they just cough it up. Happy for the Knicks fans out there. A lot of people have been saying, like, I should be happy. To be clear, I'm not really much of a basketball fan. I grew up a Celtics fan. I love the Knicks, don't get me wrong. And I mean, as a New York sports fan, I completely just leached off that championship just to experience something, you know. I'm a Mets fan. I'm a Rangers fan. We don't really have much going good for us right now. Rangers got pretty close a couple times. But the Mets, man, are the ones that I want the most. So I wanted to leech that entire, what's it called? That championship there. Just take advantage of it because I don't think I'll see that in New York for a while. I'm not a Yankees fan, though. So, Siobhan, you can have your moment here, but we're going to pretend you didn't say that first team. All right. Nerf Ninja, good to see you back as well. Big Matty Ice, too much work today, but just enough time to super chat. Thank you. Thanks for all the content. The Sacred Symbols Plus episode was great. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, that was a long episode, dude. It was like, what, 3 hours? Yeah, if anyone's subbed up on patreon.com/laststandmedia, you got me, Colin, and Cog talking 3 hours of Xbox before all this crazy news had hit about Xbox shutting down upwards of 4 studios, and there seems to be many more on the table. So it's a good conversation, though. Please check it out so you can get that kind of balanced Xbox angle. You can also get the PlayStation angle of things. Colin, definitely a big critic of Xbox. Lindy says, hey, Mr. Matty, I'm normally quietly lurking in videos. Figured I'd finally speak. Well, thank you for doing that. We need more people like you. Certainly, you make the job always worth doing, man. So I appreciate it. Thanks for being here, and thanks for speaking up. Always love to have new people in the building. Hindsight with Hustle is here. Matty not being a basketball fan and being 6'3" is crazy, bro. All right, so to be clear, I used to play a lot of basketball when I was a kid. I mean, like I was, you know, I put in quotes good, but it's because I was just taller for my age. You know, I was very aggressive. Like I really like just that intensity combined with my height at a younger age made me very useful. But yeah, I just definitely, I loved basketball as a kid. Yeah, that definitely stuck. And then as the sport became more foul baiting, you know, foul merchants, for me, that was where I call it quits. I was like, this sport's like the next soccer. And honestly, watching OKC kind of firmed that up, but like, at least they didn't make it to the finals. That was nice to see. Shout out to the Spurs for at least that. Got a couple other super chats here. 24 minutes until this next meeting. Let's discuss all the important stuff before then, okay? Hit me with it, bro. Good to see you, Rook. Thanks for being here, man. You saw the Persona 4 voice cast, all new actors. Yeah, I actually low-key love this. You know, obviously, I think the reunion of the old cast would have fed families, but I do trust Atlas a lot. They discover a lot of brand new talent, and use their games to let people who are new voices be like kind of raised into the industry. We've seen it with countless amounts of their titles. And so because there's just such a strong, passionate fan base behind all of that. So I'm keen to see what this team can do. It's going to be weird. There are some characters, like I really struggle to hear Yosuke not being Yuri Lowenthal. That's just really tough. Kanji not being Troy Baker, that's really tough as well. But you got to be fair. All these guys and gals who voiced these characters were much younger at the time. It's not like they're super old now, but I'm super open-minded to the cast they've got. Atlas usually cooks with their VA, and I love that it's a new set of talent. Certainly, I think there's a win in that. How quickly do you think people are going to turn on the new Xbox CEO with all this news coming out? Michael, I think it's already kind of happening because the news is going to fester for a while. That's why I was discussing in yesterday's video. I feel like there's a chance that she maybe advances the news a little bit, you know, tries to get ahead of the noise. We'll see, though. But she operates a little differently. So I wonder how long she lets this all fester. If Arcane is shut down and Blade is canceled, I think we can agree that Blade is a cursed character. His movies can't be made. He sucks in Rivals now. This middle point of him sucking ass in Marvel Rivals is hilarious. Yeah, man. I mean, I can't act like I'm a huge Blade fan. My introduction to him was Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Like, you get him from the vending machine in the carnival area. That's how I found out about him. I never played the tie-in video games. Not, like, super deep into his character, but, like, I love the idea of an immersive sim Blade game, assuming that's what it was going to be, right? We don't even know if that was for sure what it was going to be, but it would be awesome if it was. But, yeah, if they shut that one down, man, like, it'd be such an Xbox-coded thing. Not because, oh, Xbox failing. Xbox, for a while, like, needed their own Marvel thing, and they didn't want to do, basically, a green version of blue, is how Phil described it, which I kind of respected. I was like, okay, I can get behind that. That's why you guys don't want to get, like, your own Marvel, get your own Just One games. Okay, totally get that. Totally fair. But then you do get one in Blade. You don't announce it for your platforms, or any platforms, and then shut that one down. But I get it. The licensing for these games are brutal, and so I think a lot of people are walking away from the Marvel stuff, especially because the fatigue is real. Yeah, hey, 1426 said it perfectly. They cost more now too. Hunter Wallace, good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. 6'3" flex is crazy. Loud, I'm not 6'3". I think I'm actually. I always thought I was 6'2", but then I went to the doctor. I found out I'm 6'1", which that was cool. I've always said I want to be like 5'10", 5'11", just tall enough without the health defects that I hear about with tall people. How do you become a Mets, Rangers, Oilers, Falcons, and Celtics fan? So random. Should have picked the Yankees. I saw 5 championships. Mets was, well, I was a Yankees fan when I was a kid. I was indoctrinated, as I like to describe. I just really like the Mets players. Like, that's all it came down to. And when I became a fan, that was like when they had like the fearsome 5. Like, they had Zach Wheeler, Matt Harvey, they had Noah Syndergaard, they had all these guys that just, DeGrom, you just love to watch them play, Steven Matz. So it was really fun. And that's what really brought me on board. And I enjoyed every minute of it, still do, even during the moments of intense pain. Rangers, I mean, I'm from New York, so I think that one makes sense. Oilers, I described last stream, I said I was playing NHL 10, and I'm just like a big hockey fan, so I wanted a team to watch in the West, so I just picked the Oilers because I was good with them. Falcons, my brother is a Falcons fan since I was a kid, so jumped on that bandwagon. And then Celtics, as a kid, I liked the color green. It really was that simple. I liked the color green, and so I got to see that championship. Rondo, Garnett, and of course, Paul Pierce. That was good. Riley Brewer, thank you for your generous super chat. Can we link the downfall of Xbox to Matt Booty? If he had been a better guide for the initial run of studios purchased, there would have been no need to buy Activision to bring in a steady stream of consistent content. Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's a combination. I mean, I'm certainly no Matt Booty defender. Let's be very clear about that. Like, I think it's a combination, though, of like the long-term vision and sort of where Xbox wanted to go, how they wanted to be a content powerhouse, feed Game Pass, which was more of a Phil Spencer thing. And then I feel like Matt Booty had to take on way more work than any one human or any amount of studios that one human could handle and actually run in a healthy manner. That said, though, yeah, let's be real, dude. He's the last lingering bit of life from that old regime, and, you know, he got promoted. He failed upwards, as far as we're concerned, because if he's overseeing Xbox Game Studios and a lot of the IP, that is there, he did not really set up a lot of those teams for success, in my opinion. There is a balance, as I talked about in yesterday's video, I think, between letting your teams be creative and also understanding what keeps them in business, what keeps them valuable, what gets them selling copies, which prevents shutdowns like we're talking about today. So, yeah, it's it definitely can be linked to him for sure. But I think it's a shared thing. Again, not to defend him, just like I think it goes across that old leadership core. Matt Booty is mad ass. When I was single, I was 6 feet tall. 2.5 years in a relationship, I am 5'8". There you go. There you go. Just shrinking down. Way to stay humble, Rook. We love that. Thank you guys for your super chats. Appreciate this. Escafin says, if I was a dev at one of these studios, all I'd be thinking is I sure wish people would have cared this much about us when our games actually came out. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with this, because again, there's a balance to this all. The industry, as in gaming, cares very deeply about these teams and their health, but no one can deny that when these games show up from these teams that we don't really want, we kind of just look the other way. Like Compulsion following up We Happy Few, which was very Bioshock inspired, with South of Midnight on paper sounded interesting, but when you found out how long it took, how short it is, how kind of incomplete it was, the gameplay wasn't great. You know, those reviews came out and people were like, you know, I'm sure they'll get it next time. I think we all naturally, even subconsciously, think that, like, let them try again. They'll figure it out for sure. Like, this is good feedback for them. Even down to something as bad as Redfall. But I don't think it should be on gamers to guilt buy. I don't think you're saying this, but just a lot of people have implied it before. Like, I don't think it should be on gamers to guilt buy things so that they can keep these studios afloat. It is on us, technically. Like, I look at something like Yacht Club Games. That's the example of, like, buying to support is important, right? They're an excellent team. They made some internal decisions on how they manage their projects by going a little bit too wide and trying to do two things at once, and that hurt them. But they didn't do anything to the customer, and they put out what is considered a Game of the Year contending title, and they needed to kind of overperform at 1 million sales to really get themselves on the right track. And I think it'll get there. Don't get me wrong. It's already at, what, 500K copies sold. But those are the moments where I think gamers need to care and step up. But I don't think it's on us to go save Xbox. I think they fucked themselves completely. You and I are going to have a video recorded, a discussion about how the Elder Scrolls and Fallout IPs could be utilized at some point. I'm manifesting it. I blew up your Discord inbox about it. Be right. Okay. I'll give it a look, bro. I have not been on my Discord inbox at all. I have so many unread messages, so I appreciate it. But definitely something I know Attic wanted to do something as well for Fable. So I've got some collabs that are owed. So I'll be sure to check this out as soon as I can. Thank you, though. Uncharted Wolf. Appreciate you, dude. Uncharted, you're already holding down the streams. You don't need to super chat, dude. You can just DM me. Spyro video was awesome. Best part is 1 by far the weakest. 2 and 3 are substantially better. Low-key, a Hero's Tales underrated entry too. Yeah, dude, I actually really enjoyed Spyro a lot. I mean, the first one was... I didn't realize when I was producing the video, a lot of people were saying in the comments of that video, like, oh, it's Reignited Trilogy. But I was under the impression that this was like a totally great place to enter. So I felt a little bad because I didn't want to mislead people. I thought it was one of those like 1-to-1 remakes, but I had a blast with it, man. It was a nice little palate cleanser. I've actually been playing my DS now. Last night I fired up. Can anyone recognize the game? Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor Overclocked. I've been really trying to practice the... Here we go. I'm going to get philosophical. Thank you, Uncharted Wolf. Thanks, dude. I've been really trying to practice the art of filling my cup because I've done 0 of that for the last, like, 5 years of my life. You know? And by that, I mean, like, playing games and stuff fills my cup, but there are moments where there's things in my backlog that literally cry out to me, and I just want to play them. Devil Survivor Overclocked was one of those games. I played it on... I was flying home from somewhere. I think it was North Carolina. And I fired up for an hour, and I really loved it. And I only played it for that hour. After that, it was like, okay, time to review something. I got back in work mode. And last night, I grabbed my PS Portal, and I was like, what do I want to play? Because I finished Spyro. I'm playing Lies of P, but that's on my Xbox. I didn't want to remote stream across the house because I didn't want to play like a Souls-like with any potential latency issues. I'm on Veronique on Overture, and I'm like, oh boy, yeah, I need to be at my console for this one. But I want to lay in bed. I was just like, you know what? I know it's a JRPG, and I know not like right now I don't have all the time in the world for it. But I was like, fuck it, dude. Let's just play this game. And I played it last night. It felt so good. It felt so good. This is all your fault, Uncharted Wolf. Yeah, I'm blaming you. How dare you bring up Spyro? Paul, thank you for your super chat. What are you looking forward to this year, Maddie? Personally, I can't wait for the Odyssey, Dune 3. Oh, movie. Sorry. Are you looking forward to? Personally, can't wait for the Odyssey, Dune 3, Resident Evil. Toy Story this week is one of my most anticipated films of the year. I cannot wait, bro. I cannot wait. Comes out on my birthday, so that's going to be awesome. So that's on the list. Spider-Man. Sorry, I'm being a normie right now. Spider-Man. Odyssey is the other one, though. Yeah, of course. That one really pumped for. Resident Evil, I'm a little less interested in. Dune, I've yet to catch up on. And beyond that, I don't have a whole lot more movie knowledge. I want to see Obsession. So, that's another one. You got cooked in the comments for Spyro. JT, I didn't know. That's the thing. I didn't know. Everyone's like clicks on the video thinking I played Spyro and like it was Reignite Trilogy. If I knew, I would have just like totally framed it that way or played the original. But perhaps that's something I'll do before the new one comes out. I want to finish Spyro 3 at least. This 2023 to 2018 to 23 acquisition spree got to take the cake for worst purchase this gen. Xbox fans are waiting for payoff, and I don't think they ever got it. Yeah, when you think of the time spent and what we got, and then what's the result of this all, In Exile might be the only one to pay off, and Obsidian did, but I don't know if Xbox cares about that. Mr. 10 years in the joint. I need me Sunset Overdrive. Yeah, dude, bring that shit over. Port that. Let's go. PlayStation fans need to know greatness. Thank you, Zerofication. And Josiah, thank you. Appreciate the early birthday wishes. We'll be streaming. We'll do a birthday stream this week. That'll be on Friday. Look forward to it. We'll be doing our usual thing. Hey, man, I gotta know, what is your gamer score? John, it is in, what is it? 116K, I want to say. It's nothing that crazy. It was like rocketing. And then I went more multi-plat and just kind of played where I wanted to until my gamer score definitely plateaued. I also like trophies a little bit more. So there's sometimes I make that purchase like, if I want the platinum. I'm telling you, bro, Xbox wants me back. Give us the platinum. But thank you for that question. I stopped caring about gamer score a while ago. Just because, like, again, it was also like changing the way I played games. Like, when I go for platinums, it's like, okay, I know I love this, so I want to play more of this. Birthday stream from the hot tub. You know it, Dan. Thank you, Rickadias, for your super chat. Hero's Tale is the peak. Yeah, I love seeing, like, all these different takes on Spyro. I realize there's, like, a whole GBA category as well that I got to play, so there's a lot of childhood stuff I got to catch up on. Again, I was totally blind to Spyro. Hence the video. I guess I really got my point across, and so people were really understanding, but I also got cooked a little bit. What's the platinum count? That's not high either, Ben. It was, what was it, in the 40s? Yeah, I don't platinum hunt nearly as much. I just like it way more than, what's it called? I've been going for more platinums lately, though. I'm going to give myself some credit. I stopped for a while, and then I've gotten a good handful these last 6 months or so. I got back on the grind a little bit, but healthily. So it's not like I'm really changing my gaming habits with it. So I expect that number to go up. But yeah, my platinum hunts really waned because that combined with the achievement hunting really got bad for me. Like, I was buying games just to get trophies and achievements, but never going for the 100%. Kind of weird when I thought about it. But good question. Thanks, guys, for all these super chats. 103 plats. That's sick, Uncharted. Yeah. That's really... Damn. Is there a world where Sega or even Samsung comes out with their own console? I buy a Dreamcast 2 in a heartbeat. I think more likely what you see is if Xbox spins off independently, I think Sega runs for it and, like, invests and gets involved. And they kind of do some sort of rebranded thing. I think that'd be kind of sick. But I think jumping into the console space now with, like, how built in everyone's libraries are, like, you gotta have a lot of money to toss around. Sorry, some of your super chats are filtering out, so I'll have to double back. Is Matt Booty the Buggy of the Clown of Xbox? Also, Matty, any updates on your One Piece journey? Last I heard you talk about it was 1 to 2 years ago. That's exactly when the last update probably was. I have not watched a lick of One Piece in a while. I've been watching smaller anime. I've been watching Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, Free Ren, latest JJK seasons, finishing out My Hero, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's where I've been watching a lot. That's a lot of the stuff I've been watching this last year or so. Did you read Project Hail Mary before seeing the movie? No, I actually didn't. No, I heard the book is amazing, though. Would you rather KOTOR remake or Elder Scrolls 6 get canceled? Oh, Jesus, dude. KOTOR remake. I already have KOTOR. It's amazing. I love it. I want just more Old Republic content. Elder Scrolls 6 just needs, like, we need to see that through. Humanity needs to see that through. It's been reported that contractually these teams were given creative freedom and more, and that limited the amount and type of interventions that Xbox could have. Based on that, what could Xbox have done? Well, where's the report from, first of all? That's what I would need to know, first and foremost. But let's kind of go into the angle of, like, okay, let's say this is 100% true, because, again, this could be a Schreier report. I have no idea. Contractually giving teams you own creative freedom doesn't make any sense to me. And that limits the type of intervention Xbox could have. Again, I also... Mike Fury's in the chat. Let's go. Long time viewer. Love to see Mike here. Anyway, the amount of interventions being limited, I also don't know how that works on a contractual basis. But again, let's presume this is all true. What could Xbox have done? Not done the contract in the first place. I know that sounds crazy, but letting companies you're buying sign a deal so that you have your arms tied behind your back and you give them the complete utmost faith so that they can, in the case of South of Midnight, Ninja Theory with Hellblade 2, like, just fuck around for a while. Or, again, I do have to look at companies like Double Fine. Like, is it really good business to do Keeper and then Kiln? And then, like, we're pointing the finger at Xbox? Like, if Xbox signed a deal like that, that's kind of on them. D-Man, don't worry. I'll swing back for your super chat. I apologize. I'm trying to do what's in the software, and then I filter back to anything that gets somehow kicked out. So don't worry. I'll get you guys who I missed. Thoughts on Josh Sawyer's recent YouTube activity? I love it, dude. I fucking love Sawyer, bro. This guy's a genius. And I love his, like, little talks about things like Armor System, but I also want him to talk more about, like, writing and game direction, that sort of stuff. I think he's such a intelligent voice. And I hope he just keeps going. I really do. I think if Tim Kane's going to stop, I think Sawyer should keep going. New Hellraiser gameplay reminds me of BioShock. Yeah, I sent Locke the trailer for that today. I thought this looked really good. I'm pretty excited for it. Coming out this October. Good month for that. Not seeing the movie, though. Delete your fucking posts. Are you going to cry, Colin? You going to cry? This is what it's like without Dustin, by the way. This was never a problem because Dustin always handled deleting the posts. No one's ever told me to delete posts, might I add. Nobody's ever been like, by the way, Maddie, delete your posts, because Dustin, who managed it all, would do that. He would manage the Patreon. So to my understanding, he would do that. Obviously, Dustin's out for very good reasons. Congrats to the homie Dustin, by the way. Him and Holly have had a beautiful baby named Leon. Super happy for my man. But now that Dustin's gone, I guess it's on me. I don't know. This is our level of communication at LSM. Sometimes I'll learn things through Colin's stream, and I'm like, okay, that's what it is now. Ryan Kiefer says, how are you enjoying The Sopranos? I remember you brought it up in the Xbox Showcase stream. Also, have you seen Schreier's new YouTube channel? I have. Schreier's got a great channel, dude. Subscribe to that immediately. Sopranos is great. I'm at the end of season 3 now. I'm approaching what seems to be what a lot of people's favorite episode in television ever is. For a reference of the season 3 moment I'm at, like, I'm at the point where Paulie was getting paranoid with Chris, and he makes him strip down. He's like, I guess you could call that a dick. That show is so fucking funny, dude. I love it. Yeah, Sopranos is great. It's just a bunch of side quests at times, at least right now. There's like a general through line, but it's just always like, what are these characters up to? This shit's going to be wild entertaining. Ralphie is doing Ralphie things in season 3. It's wild. Great stuff, though. Really great stuff. What Final Fantasy do you think they remaster after 7? Zensha, if they're doing good business, I think it'll be 10. That's my prediction. Praying for a Dead Space 2 remake. That was shit. Yeah. Alex Mercer, another great take here. Yeah, the first one was so good, too. It made me really want, like, Dead Space 2, because then I was like, what happens when we get to Dead Space 3, right? So, good call out here. EA doesn't have the balls. Not your average NPC. Thank you for your super chat. What inspired you to want to make a game? What do you think yours is going to do that'll make the journey worth it? Game dev sounds treacherous, man. Deep question. What inspired me to make the game was I played Persona 5 Royal, and it just kind of changed my brain and how I think about art, and everything I've done before that point felt very much trivialized. Like, it just didn't matter. Like, what people say about my videos didn't matter for better or for worse. It just did. I was like, this is purpose. Like, this is life. Like, making someone feel the way I'm currently feeling, where I'm just so captured by a game's message and so rattled by it too. That's like an incredible out-of-body experience. I don't know if I'll ever recapture, because it really just changed what path I was on, which I was really happy with at the time. So I think that would make the journey worth it, is seeing it through. I think the other thing that would make it worth it is kind of reaching our goal, which is to kind of run the operation a little low and slow and kind of get more games out quickly. And so I want to talk about that at a later time, but yeah, like, that's something that's been a huge priority for us this whole time we've been working on it. But yeah, it's treacherous if you're going into it trying to get rich and trying to swing with big budget projects, but we're all part-time. I'm the sole funder, and I'm also the creative director, among multiple other things. And so you kind of got the guy who's funding it also working on it heavily. So it's a pretty safe operation. It's a pretty safe place to work. So game dev is treacherous, but for the 10 of us who are working on the game right now, everyone's good to go. So, I mean, that's why it's like, I'm not shooting for, give me millions. I'll just be happy if people show up and make it to the point where we can make the next game. That would make it worth it. But we got to earn that. Would you ever go for the 76 platinum? Yeah, probably eventually. I'm so close. I may as well. It'd make for a funny video, I think. But personal enjoyment-wise, no. Rion Charles. Yo, Maddie. Love watching the streams. Have you ever played any Mountain Blade games? Also, you watch the anime Orb on the Movements of the Earth. It's amazing. I've never heard of that one. That's completely new. But as for Mountain Blade, I played the first one a decent amount. I like them. They kind of reminded me of Star Wars Battlefront. I don't know if that's a hot take, but just like the way the big scale battles work and you take control of like a random soldier. I really like that stuff. That really speaks to me, just from like my childhood. So I liked it quite a bit. But Rion, thank you for your generous super chat. I appreciate you guys so much. The devs Xbox is firing, make games I enjoyed. And that's the brutal reality right now. A lot of people did like a lot of the stuff these teams put out, more creative, smaller projects, whether it be Kiln or Hellblade 2. And so, yeah, a lot of people are going to lose some of their favorite studios. For me, a lot of their greatest work was before they were acquired, especially with like Ninja Theory, Hellblade 1, DMC Devil May Cry. Like, those games come to mind. I haven't played Enslaved Odyssey of the West, but heard that was really good. Double Fine was actually when Xbox acquired them, because it was Psychonauts 2. That game's, pardon me, amazing. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear this, dude. I get the feeling. Xbox is taking some of my favorites. Let me double back real quick, because I did miss some, and more super chats than I expected came in. So I don't want to leave anyone hanging. All right, let's see what we got here. D-Man said, the layoffs suck, but people are jumping the gun, dooming Xbox. Let Asha do a reset, and then after, if more happens, then give her the smoke. Yeah, I think, D-Man, there's a level of, like I talked about in the video, trying to reset the business in a way that makes sense. Like, some of this feels long overdue. Some of this just felt truly unsustainable. And this is the pro and con of bringing in someone who has no attachment to the business. She looked at the numbers. She looked at these studios. She looked at their output. She looked at the underutilized IP. And was like, what the fuck are we doing? Now, the question is how much of a risk taker she is beyond all of that. Like, does she look at something such as Banjo and go, okay, there's value in that because look how good Spyro did. Like, we can see a line here that we need to greenlight more of these IP. Or is she looking at proven data like Fallout and Elder Scrolls are known performers? Why aren't there more of these things? And that's all it's going to be. Is Xbox going to go safe? So Matt Booty was just saying these smaller games are sparks to become something bigger. I think this guy talks out of his ass half the time. I mean, this is also the same guy who literally just said 4 months ago, our studios are not getting any sort of overhauls or restructuring. And here we are now. And like, there's a ton of shutdowns looming. So it does suck. We'll give it a chance. We'll have that conversation. I'm certainly not in the, I think it's kind of not entertaining. It's just kind of like amusing at this point. It's like, okay, here we go again. Like, if you watch back as the studio shutdowns happen, you'd watch me rage out. And unless there's a real curveball, like Bethesda Game Studio shutdown, I don't see myself raging out at this. I'm just like, okay, this is just what it is. Sure. Like, Xbox, good luck figuring it out. I feel like any extra emotion spent on this is just tiring. You know? What's going on, Frenchie? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Riley Brewer said, do you have thoughts about EA launching in-platform ads in their sport games? I actually don't mind, but it's a slippery slope. Let me look into that. I did not catch that news. EA, let's see, sports ads in-game. Electronic Arts, well, here, so you guys can read with me, sorry. Professional streamer. Electronic Arts launches EA advertising, a new way for brands to advertise directly into gameplay. Oh boy. Announced EA advertising, new way for brands to connect with fans through its portfolio. EA advertising is expanding EA's ecosystem by enabling brands to integrate directly into gameplay through dynamic real-time placement from stadium signage to custom in-game content. Yeah, you described it perfectly. According to the company, EA has reached over 120 million players. Okay, so they're just like, really, yeah, this thing's such a money house, dude. It's fucking crazy. They're gonna make even more cash off of the suckers that fucking buy this every year. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Slippery slope. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Let me catch up on any other missed super chats here from before. I know I missed one other. Oh, Iron Rook became a member and said, honestly, not sure why they don't periodically bring in people like you as independent contractors to help them calibrate the community's wants. I don't know if I'd even accept that, to be honest with you, Iron Rook. It's like, my videos are out there, they're public, my views are very clear, and I think I echo a lot of the community sentiment, and I don't think Xbox is having any trouble figuring out what people want, just how to do it, which also doesn't seem as complicated from the outside looking in, so kind of just hurting themselves here. Wolf Bear, that's really nice. Thank you. Let us prove it to you first, but thank you. It's really kind of you. Did I miss anyone else here? Before I get, I think I'm with the current stuff now. Let me catch up with you guys here. I personally hope for 8. Dirty, in my opinion. Square was cooking too fast, putting out Final Fantasy 9 close. Yeah, that's very true. First half of the game of 8, I think, really cooked. Second half, I'm just like, I don't know. They just said, fuck it. They was like, fuck it. Launch this man to the moon, literally. But a lot of people love it for that, so embrace the crazy, maybe? I don't know. A lot of people defend 8 as the best, but with all due respect, hell no. Pigeon Go Gaming says, sadly, I doubt Ninja Theory gets a buyer. Xbox owns Hellblade IP. Xbox may try to retain the mocap studio. Ninja Theory without mocap studio, and Hellblade is yikes. Yeah, it's, what do they have? Unreal Engine fidelity. It's a shame. I mean, like, dude, just the fact that, like, we just got the game announcement. It's like, oh, they're actually listening. Awesome. And this is a really quick turnaround. Like, this is fucking great, dude. My guess is Xbox let them announce this because there was, like, a level of, like, hey, this will be good for you to put out there so that a potential buyer might be interested in this. I don't know. I don't know because, like, what, Xbox let them have the Hi-Fi Rush IP? Right? So letting a company announce a game and then a week later it leaks that you're shutting them down, that's fucking brutal, dude. That's like next level crazy shit. I don't think we've ever seen that before. One more super chat on my way out to attend this big dumb stupid meeting. I'll catch the rest later. Oh, Rook, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. You don't got to do all this, but thank you, dude. Good to see you, and enjoy your big, dumb, stupid meeting. For some weird reason, whenever I see your videos, I remember the KOTOR Manon soundtrack. Thank you for sharing the same childhood, dude. Oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's like that's probably my favorite track in... Is that my favorite track in all video games? It's up there. It's up there. It's a top fiver. Something from Jeremy Soul's got to be #1. That guy's music throughout my childhood was so important, but I think Manon might be it. That's awesome, though. I equivalate in your brain with peace. That's at least how I view it. But if you know the story, it's an uneasy peace, a fragile peace. Peace is a lie. Anyway, playing through Visions of Mana, have you ever played it? I always get this confused with another Mana series, Trials of Mana. Let me see Visions of Mana. Sorry, one sec. Oh yeah, this one. Did I dabble? Hold on, let me check out Steam real quick. I did not dabble in this one. No, I skipped out on this, unfortunately. Are you enjoying it? It looks pretty solid. Let me know in chat. Jay plays casual. Hey man, I love the vids. Don't want to be a doomer, but is Xbox cooked? You think they'll still be around 10 years from now? It's really hard to say in the way they are now. It really is. Like okay, so in this sort of stripping down, what we need to remember is that this is regulating. It's oh god, like it's so tough to talk about. Like you hope that people will get into game development and new talent will rise up, but they are taking so many people down with them. But it should, technically speaking, allow them to survive. It should. It would make the most sense. It really should. They're offloading a ton of spending on stuff that's not making them money and focusing on Fallout and Elder Scrolls and Forza and Minecraft, like proven money makers. It's going to be a lot safer. And so maybe they won't be around in your mind for a while because they eventually will just become like, I don't know, think of what PlayStation's kind of doing. I was very critical of it, and I'll be the same way with Xbox. Like, PlayStation going safe was really boring this generation. I did not find it exciting. At least with Xbox, there were some under-deliveries, but I got some really cool, interesting stuff. So, do I think they're cooked, though? It's cooking, but it seems like it's time for this brand to stand on its own 2 feet. And it sounds like, based on what Satya Nadella recently said, he seems just fucking done with it. He's like, it's... You know, figure it out, basically. It's so funny. He's like, you figure it out. As he proceeds to do so many things that contribute to the destruction of the brand, whether it be the accountability margin that went upwards of 40%. That's fucking insane, dude. You don't know what you're doing. And then on top of that, he's like, yeah, with AI and cloud, you know, that's really made things tough for Xbox. Brother, you control that. That's on you, my bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, it's really unfortunate. Like, dude, you're like a fucking guy powering the AI gold rush. You're foaming at the mouth over it. What do you mean? Like, yeah, it's real unfortunate. Like, we're basically fucking this business. And he's like, they got to stand on their own 2 feet. Like, get them out of there. I'd feel a lot better about them and their prospects if they were standing on their own 2 feet away from Microsoft. I think that company's been wrecking this business. Joshua asks, have you heard the news about Tencent pulling funding from Don't Nod? Be sad if true. One of my favorite AA studios. Love Life is Strange 1, Vampire, and Vanishers. Yeah, this would be a shame. Out of those three, Vampire is the one that stands out in my head. I love that game. I did see it. They got 5 months to collect funding. I really hope things go well for them. But yeah, Tencent's been making some pretty aggro moves. Like they've pulled funding from a couple of places. I mean, I think were they not the ones who pulled funding from Highguard as well? So it seems like they're getting a little aggressive with their spending and where they want to be. Michael Rendler. FromSoft's next game should take place at Microsoft. You are unemployed. You need to fight through the layers of corporate executives. Hell yeah. Brilliant. That'd be awesome. What would the final boss be, Phil? You think? Shadows of Phil. Phil, harbinger of Xbox. What would be the like enemy version? Like, what would be the enemy variant of this as an Xbox? Would it be like a bunch of screens running at you that are all like different form factors, but they have the Xbox brand on them? This would be a brilliant video game. What justified funding idle studios for Xbox? Prestige. I think that was the idea. I think these kind of like the goal. I think the vision was, and this is just my look from the outside looking in. Like, I don't think you bought Compulsion after We Happy Few going like, yep, that's going to make us like millions and millions of dollars. I think you bought it alongside Ninja Theory and Double Fine because it added prestige to your brand while the heavy hitters would do heavy hitter things and allow these other companies to kind of flourish. Xpocalypse. Game Pass final boss. Gen Alpha's the final... yeah, Gen Alpha's the final boss. Asha's the super boss. Yeah, Asha's the hidden boss. She's the secret boss that you didn't know until you're like, oh my god, this is Phil's replacement. Booty and ball dual boss fight. Void Army, thank you for your super chat. Restructuring isn't the only thing going on here. These studios are negotiating to go independent, and Microsoft is saying no. They only care about keeping IP, not studios and the employees. That is a very key point. I was talking about things that would bother me, and if this becomes immediately apparent, this would be something that gets me angry. Just to kind of forewarn everyone a nice, like, couple of weeks in advance. Like, we're just checking the temperature here. This is a Microsoft-ass thing. They buy the thing, and they're like, we got it, we got it. All the things that made that possible, though, most importantly, the people, they ended up losing, and then they think that the thing that they bought just expired in its value, and they're like, okay, we're done with it now. They're basically about to do the same with Xbox, but this right here is a key point, because you can see this across Bethesda, and how all the key talent making Bethesda worth owning, Matt Firer, John Johannes, Shinji Mikami, Harvey Smith, the list goes on. I mean, fortunately, they have Hugo and Marty. They've got Todd. You know, we'll see how long that all lasts, dude. I don't see Xbox continue to gut this stuff, and a lot of people don't just look at each other and go, hey, we got a reputation. We've got friends. Tons of free agents out there. Let's round up some funding and, like, do this ourselves. And just get away from this corporate structure. And so Xbox's ability to let go of key talent needs to be studied. I mean, they did that for Call of Duty before when it was Phil. Like, they gutted a bunch of the Call of Duty operation. Now they've lost the studio head for 20 plus years at Treyarch. Could just be funny timing, but that's a huge loss too. Good luck to them. There's some good criticism about your Sony first party takes. Do you... Oh, I missed you in chat. Where'd it go? There's some good criticism about your Sony first party takes. Do you ignore these or take them and try to understand the points? Pooter, of course I try to take them and understand the points. I think a lot of people misunderstand disagreement doesn't mean that I'm not listening. Like, and again, if I put my point respectfully, I'm like, I get why y'all really love a particular style of video game. I think if I put it out there like that and we just collectively disagree and we respect that point, then yeah, of course, like, I respect what people had to say about the PlayStation exclusives and how they were like, Maddie, you should play things like God of War Ragnarok. You should play things like Horizon Forbidden West. It's like, yeah, totally fair. Like, I totally get why you guys would want me to play those things, or why you think they're dramatically different, or I would understand that if I played these things. But my point was never about how they played outside of what I started to see in the latest state of play, which was overlapping mechanics. It was about presentation. It was about camera usage. It was about framework. And then starting to float into gameplay with certain mechanics like co-op attacks. And I feel like I've made that point clear multiple times, where I think some people just don't want to accept that. But I accept the take, you know? So, like, I personally am all about, you know, the differing opinions. A great example, actually, was just a couple of videos ago. I brought up in yesterday's video. I said how I mentioned the rakes. I made the rake joke about, like, stepping on rakes. And people were like, well, is it really a rake if it's necessary? And a lot of comments were like that. And I'm like, that's such a great point. Like, yeah, let's talk about that. So, I don't know. Anyone who thinks, like, do I actually take those points and consider them isn't paying close enough attention, I think, because, like, that's my whole channel is like this. Like, I like to talk to you guys. There's a reason we're not playing games when we're sitting here and we're just talking, because we're having a conversation. I think that's super important. So, Rod Will said, what happened to Matty Slop? Nothing happened to Matty Slop. Like, we're going to record a bunch of Slop today. I've just been enjoying, like, hopping on stream and talking to you guys and not, like, recording stuff, just talking. So, the prior week, though, was just showcase week, and I was really busy. So, nothing to read into. We're back at it this week. So, look forward to consistent Slop videos. Devin, what do you think the rumored Project Sabile new Xbox controller launches? I'm wondering if Asha's pulling back on producing it this year with all the cuts. It's possible. She could look at the controller lab and be like, hey, we already got enough controllers. Depends what it plays into with their ability to reach other players as well. Like, how many screens they want to reach. So, very good question here. It's really hard to tell, but Xbox seems keen to invest in hardware, at least for the short term, based on what they said. So my hope is like sometime this year. That'd be cool. Maybe holiday. Jackalope, thank you for super chatting. Do you think Xbox will clamp down on game budgets? It's crazy to me that Gears of War would cost $400 million, but Expedition 33 was made with 10. I think a lot of companies are going to clamp down on budgets. Big time. I don't know why it took this long to correct on this. This is what I talked about when Phil started to do Xbox Everywhere. And this is before they did This is an Xbox. I mentioned how eventually your user base will reach that ceiling even if you're on all platforms. And then what? You still have to address your game budgets. So I feel like the industry is going exactly in the place I thought it would, which is you can spend a little and make a lot here. That's one of the beauties of game development. But you need to hold on to your talent. And guess what Xbox is really bad at doing? Holding on to talent. So that's what it really comes down to. $400 million for Gears of War to be an Xbox exclusive is sending that game out to die. But I wonder if that kind of sacrificial lamb was good for the base, but also kept companies like inXile and Coalition off the target list. They were like, sure, take our game as long as everyone gets to keep their jobs. And so they'll be core moving forward, maybe. Will you be covering Valorant's Call coming out July 27th? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, July is going to be a big backlog month for me. So I kind of wanted to focus on that stuff and not a lot of newer stuff outside of like Halo and maybe Avatar. Those are the main games I was looking at then. I don't believe Matt Ball at all. I can very easily see a future where Halo does well on PlayStation, Gears does poorly on Xbox, and they backtrack. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how Matthew Ball's tweets age. He's been very definitive, and I respect that. We'll actually talk about one of his tweets today. But, you know, we've just, as Xbox fans, we know how this goes. We know how this goes, bro. Like, we just know I mean, we just got a game announcement for a studio that might be getting shut down later this month. And the game looks like it's far along and it's coming out next year. Like, get what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard to believe anything this team says. Why would we trust them? When it comes to picking the next game to play in your backlog, do you pick 10 and then use a roulette app to help you? No, I just have a spreadsheet. I've shown it before. There's a Retro Rebound video if you want to check it out. But this is a good question, JP. I just literally go to the spreadsheet and I just pick out a game. Sometimes it's impulsive, like I mentioned with... what was it called? Spyro. Like, Spyro is like one I just kind of grabbed and I was like, this is a short game. I'm just going to play it. But yeah, I don't really like spin the roulette wheel. If that helps you though, that's a good idea. Just having fun with it. Would love if you did a Retro Rebound on Dark Souls. Yeah, it's funny. I haven't really done many Souls-likes. I did Sekiro for the first time. That was about it. Even with how painful layoffs are, Xbox should have done this years before they greenlit all those projects that were niche and cost so much money to make. They're making good money, but they're spending more than they make in those projects. Yeah, totally. Totally, Juan. I mean, I think it's that. I think they could do these smaller projects. I think they just didn't greenlight enough heavy hitters to maybe help offset that. Because basically what happened is they were spending on these smaller projects. They were underperforming, so Game Pass was subsidizing. So they weren't profiting. And then when maybe some of these other games are starting to do well, others were hitting losses, and now you have to buy Call of Duty. So Call of Duty's now subsidizing these losses. And it's all just creating like effectively a flat to declining line. And so it's always something patching a leaking hole in the ship. And that's what Microsoft does well. They're like, oh, we're losing. Buy something quick. Okay, boom. There we go. There we go. Profits. And like things look good for a moment. And then like suddenly that leak appears somewhere else in the ship. So I do think like trimming down is going to help them. Of course, it should stabilize things. It's a shame it's going to come at the cost of a lot of really great teams that have really great creative ideas. And we're going to lose a lot of really talented devs. And that cannot be overstated. But I think a lot of this does come back to Phil, Sarah, Matt, buy Bethesda. What the fuck are you doing with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, bro? I'm not saying that saves the whole situation here, but you're making more money with those franchises being active and not being online video games only. You know, immediately. That's the thing. Asha Sharma knows nothing about video games. She literally says that I'm not a gamer. She spent the first 100 days learning the business. She's not a gamer. She came in her first 100 days was like, why the fuck aren't there more Fallout and Elder Scrolls games? And we get the report that she's going to greenlight them. It's not rocket science, bro. So I think that could have saved a lot of their issues. Spinning out Halo. So it's not just one studio fucking trashing the brand. Like, there are so many other things. So many other things they could have done. So it's even at this point, I really feel bad for these teams because I'm like, they definitely played a part in this process, no doubt. But like Xbox's IP management could have helped so much in this, at least giving these teams a chance. You know, I don't think it's fair to buy something like a Ninja Theory and go, you're going to produce the next like $10 million, 10 million copy seller for us. It's like, people barely know us, bro. We got to build up for a little bit, you know, but virality exists in today's industry, so it is possible. It's just a really big uphill battle. Hey, Matty, I still don't get why Xbox bought Compulsion. We Happy Few didn't review well in early access and launch. What did Xbox expect? Seriously. Okay, so I'm trying to reconnect with a thought I had back when Xbox first bought them, and my 2 cents here is that with Compulsion, it was We Happy Few really showed a lot of potential. So did Contrast was an excellent game, I thought, which was around the launch of the PS4. But We Happy Few showed if you had more money, you could have completed this vision, which is you didn't need to do early access. You didn't need to make this an open world procedurally generated thing. You could have made something more tight and handcrafted, but you went this direction, which didn't really fit, I felt, the narrative that they were trying to do, because the best parts of We Happy Few were the more self-contained ones, at least in my opinion. I remember really looking forward to that game because I'm a huge BioShock fan, so anything that looks like BioShock, I'm like, hell yeah. But it had potential, and I think Xbox bought into their potential of like, if you had money, if you didn't have to do early access, if you didn't have to get creative with how you made it, and by that, you always have to get creative with how you make a game. That's poor work choice. But if you didn't have to like be very selectful of like procedurally generated or going all in on like one-offs, that game would have been infinitely better. And they bought into that idea, and maybe not proof of concept or executables, actionable items on the list. And I think they learned their lesson with South of Midnight, which is a fine video game. I don't hate it as much as other people do, but I thought it was, outside of the music and the art, very underwhelming given the weight. And I think a lot of players felt the same way. It didn't sell well at all. So I think that's why they bought them. They kind of bought them on the promise of them becoming a more prestige-like studio for them. They're selling their most unique studios. Yeah, definitely. Double Fine's definitely top of the list for that, in my opinion. Pigeon says, see, I assume the direction they went with We Happy Few was directional issue since Gearbox popped in to fund the project anyway. That's true. The thing with game funding that's tricky, and what I've learned, is that you can kind of get funding from different sources at different points. Like, especially nowadays, there's a lot of options. Like, I remember one indie studio I talked to was like they said like, look for any, I'm not doing this personally, but they were like, look for any new service that's on the market. Like when Apple Arcade popped up, they're looking for content. They'll pay a premium for you. And so you'll fund your project based on that alone and then get the sales later. And so I think there's a lot more strategic options available with like things such as Game Pass, PS Plus, Humble Bundle, Epic Game Store. You can sell your product in all those different ways. So there's always options, but I think when you're early access, is like you get it a little bit further along the way, and then at that point it's a lesser risk for someone like Gearbox to step in, and they'll fund it maybe the rest of the way. And so it's why, like with our team, if we do pitch to publishers again, I've always said we'll pitch from a position of strength, because that leads to you taking a shitty deal, and then the game might do well, but the publisher gets all the money, and then you're left with nothing. Devs get treated like shit in this industry, by both players at times, but also even the people who are funding them. Did you use the funeral slideshow music on purpose? Is this what Xbox devs are hearing in the office this week? Funeral slideshow? This is Skyrim, my brother. What are you talking about? How dare you? Mithu's back. What's going on, Mithu? Thanks for being here. Do you think Wasteland 4 is next after Clockwork? I'm looking forward to it, but man, I'm craving a Wasteland 4 more than a new Fallout. This is where the new regime is interesting. Okay, you get your new IP, Clockwork Revolution. But Fargo and Co., we really think you guys would be great with a Fallout game. We need you to make money. Oh, you don't want to? Well, that's not really vital to our business. I think we're in that type of time right now. I don't know if they go back and do a Wasteland 4, unless Wasteland 4 is basically a Wasteland reboot that looks and feels and plays like Fallout. And in that case, may as well go make Fallout. I really don't know I don't really know if Wasteland gets greenlit in this new leadership group. I think they just push them to Fallout, if they're trying to make Wasteland. Eric Gordon says, this is how it is in every line of work. You can't produce, you got to go. The reset needs to happen. Xbox will be fine. There we go. Here we go. We got a lot of confident businessmen and women in the building today. Ice Cap Lord, let's go. I just don't know what Xbox expected. They say they're going to let things be at studios, knowing full well they'll make niche games, and then think that because they're Xbox, they'll just become AAA. Yeah, also in the terms of performance, I think they're expecting them to become AAA. So, again, I think they expected their heavy hitters to do a lot more. They had anticipations that Game Pass would grow to 100 million. They've obviously come close, or not come close at all, like a third of that, maybe. So, yeah, it's just like they have to change. They try to hold on to these studios and make it work, but they've got to change. The motto for End of Evangelion once said, "The beauty of destruction is the joy of rebirth." Xbox will lose, but these devs will make something greater. Wow, how prophetic. How prophetic of you. I love that. What a beautiful set of words there. Vince says, we need a new Bethesda MMO. That's good. That's good. That's exactly what we need. Is Sony ultimately right? No small single-player games, few first-party games, only big games for big returns, and let third parties do the rest? You can't say no, but they're I mean, they kind of blew this generation. They just, I think, skated on by because... Not skated on by is a little more thin than it actually is with reality. PlayStation did extremely well this generation, but they're kind of lucky because... I feel like if Xbox was doing extremely well, we might have a different conversation. Because PlayStation, again, with some of the business moves they made, the games they greenlit that crashed and burned like a Concord, you know, Fair Games, or what is it, Break-In now, not really looking too hot. I can't confidently say PlayStation's right. I think they're doing right by what made sense for their business, which is going back to exclusivity. They're trying to do multi-plat for their live service games as well. Which I think makes sense. Most of that live service base was on Steam anyway. But their whole experiment of using the kind of Steam backlog releases to get people onto the PlayStation ecosystem and building that base out further, or just getting double the profit on their games because of the novelty of a PlayStation game on PC, did not work out for them. And budgets are going up while they're going into a new generation where the hardware is going to be more expensive than ever. And it's more dangerous than ever to make PS6 games, where I feel like all PS6 launch games are going to be cross-gen, kind of like what we got with something like Miles Morales. And that adoption will be slow. And I'll be interested to see if a game like Intergalactic is even PS6 exclusive, you know? So it's hard to say. We're in a time of true unknowns. It's fun. It's interesting to see how these companies are going to do business, how they're going to navigate this kind of period of time. But it's hard to really say anyone's right except Nintendo. Nintendo is right. Nintendo seems to let companies kind of set their own model for success and follow that. Gene Park pulled out a good example of Xenoblade. He was just like, you know, it's really cool that Xenoblade can sell 2 million copies. That's more than enough. And then Monolith can just go on to make their next Xenoblade game. And, like, that's more than enough for Big Daddy Nintendo, who knows what, like, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sales are like, right? So, I think Nintendo's the only one that's got it figured out. Right on, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. We're officially caught up, and I think it's time for some slop. Let me get the browser up and running here. Yeah, because Nintendo screws their users. BottleCat Barry, I'm not saying you're wrong. You know, I'm not saying Nintendo's like the end all be all, like, you know, love them, man. They're killing it. But Nintendo knows how to make money. That is a truth. Up here. Hang on one sec, y'all. This first conversation, it's more of a discussion instead of news. Normally here on Matty Slop, we do just raw news, but this is more returning to one of my original ideas, which was to have more discussion-driven things where it's like, not exactly a Mr. Matty video, but it's like, pardon me, I keep burping so much this stream. I'm sorry. But it's more inspired by that sort of content approach. So we're going to talk about the kind of questionable future of Game Pass amid all these changes, ahead of all these changes. That'll be our first one. And then our second conversation will be about Steam Machine. And in between all that, we'll talk, obviously, a shit ton of Xbox. Rodwell says, hilarious stream from Colin and Last Stand. Will you delete your post from now on, sir? Again, Colin never communicates this to me. I don't know this is supposed to be a thing. I don't know if this is something like Dustin. See, what I'm getting the vibe of here at LSM is that like maybe Dustin, Colin are like, this fucking guy never deletes his post. But the only reason I don't is I thought it was Dustin, like part of his job. He's the executive producer. So will I delete my post? I didn't know that was part of my job. I don't mind. It takes 5 seconds. Tell Colin to stop posting sacred symbols on top of defining Duke and we'll have a conversation, all right? Make sure you shut off the music when you record, Matty. Thank you, Hez. Appreciate that. Thank you for looking at it. Yeah, want to make sure we get everything booted up properly first. Super West, thank you for your super chat. Have you watched the Persona 4 and 5 anime, Matty? Not 5. I watched 4, though. 4 is fucking hilarious, dude. So good. So good, man. They did such an incredible job with that. I don't know if that'll ever be topped. Colin crashing out was hilarious. I didn't see the whole crash out. I gotta see the clip. Does anyone in chat have the clip? Well, we might as well watch it before we get started here. I gotta see what one of my bosses was saying to me. I gotta see what he's saying, bro. There's a generational crash out, bro. What the fuck? How is it a generational crash out? I didn't even know this is a problem. Like here, let me actually, you know what? I bet it's archived. Hold on. Let me go to Last Stand Media channel. I bet it's archived. I'm sure someone put in the comments the timestamp of it. Like, I gotta see this shit. I gotta see what Colin was so bent out of shape about. Okay, all right. First fucking hour is crazy. Check Locke's tweet. Okay, Locke tweeted it. Oh boy. All right, hang on. You have a boss? Not really, Ruben. I don't want to call it a boss, but like Colin definitely runs the operation. Okay. Let's go to Locke's. What did Locke post? Okay. Okay, this is unlocked. Oh, man. Check Lockmore's tweet. Okay. Hang on, let me pause the music. All right, let's oh god. Let's see what we got here. Oh my god.
I don't really watch streamers, but I know a lot of them are stupid as fuck. If they can figure it out, why can't I figure it out? JT Smash can figure it out. DSP can figure it out. I'm streaming alone. And I don't know what's going on. It's hot as fucking hell here. Can you hear me? You know what I forgot to do? I should do that right now as well. I forgot to post this on Patreon. JD says show chats on screen when you read them. You want me to fucking kill you? Dustin, where are you? I don't know how to do any of this shit. Dustin Furman, come save me. Dustin, are you watching? Is Dustin's cousin watching? Lockmort, how do I get into OBS? Oh, the Patreon post. There's a fucking note says Patreon post on it. Jingjun2551. That's what it says. It sounds racist when I say that. Only we can put the chat on the screen. Lockmort, please. Hey, Anthony, are you fucking stupid? It's Downton. It's not downtown. Get that kid back to his short bus. Here's the Rock from Down Abbey. Lockmore, help me. Help me, Lockmore. Help me. You're trying to help me, but you're not.
Please save me, Donald Trump.
Oh, you're right. I didn't make the Patreon post. God damn it. It's always fucking something.
Bring out the olive.
You gotta hire a bunch of people, and then you don't know what you're doing anymore. And years pass. Years pass.
Oh my God.
Years of my life. He can't have any more kids. That's it. Who needs Dustin? Stay away for years if you want. Come back when your kids are in nursery
probably the first
school.
20 minutes.
I'll have another Dustin. His name will be Nathan. Lockmore, how do I put the chat on the Patreon post? God damn it! Oh God, I just X'd out of the Patreon post. So sick of this company. I didn't want to be a boss. I didn't want any of this. Why did Dustin have to have sex? It's like it's not enough for you to have sex. It's like, oh, I got someone pregnant. You ejaculated?
Yo. Hey, I didn't hear anything about my Patreon post. That was beautiful. Why did Dustin have to have sex, bro? That's so fucking funny. Oh, that was funny as hell, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, I guess if I'm in trouble now, then why did Dustin have to do that? Let's see here. I just want to see. Someone timestamped everything. All right. Whatever's going on with this Patreon post stuff that everyone keeps bringing up. I don't know. I'm gonna plead the fifth here. I don't even know. I don't know what happened. I'm just gonna let it be. Just gonna let it be. Okay. I have Matty Slop to record if you don't mind. Do you ever shop or sell on Facebook Marketplace? No. I don't know. I don't really like dig for hauls that much. I've been kind of slimming down my collection actually, so do a little bit less. He was yelling, "Matt, delete your fucking posts." Oh no. Well, that'll be a good clip. Dustin, pull out better next time. Yeah, dude, like this right here, Dustin. This right here, dude. You just gotta like you're so good at everything else you do. You pull out games weak. It's unacceptable. Okay. Let's get into the Matty Slop. I mean, that was sloppy in its own right, but let's get into the Matty Slop. All right. Anyone who wants to join in on the fun, you can spam the meat emoji in the chat. Have at it. Let's do this. So like I said, we're going to have a conversation about Game Pass. It's questionable future, so serious face time. Let me make sure everything's aligned as well. Hang on. I always fuck this part up. Yeah, see exactly how off-center it is. Like, you only see Stasis' reaction to this. Yep, check out my stream, guys. All right, let's do this. Let's move you right over here, and let's see if that's in line with everything else. Yep, that's actually not centered. There we go. Yep. And the question really is, how does it get off-centered? I don't know. That's quite strange, but nonetheless, here we are. Thank you guys for spamming your meat emojis. Appreciate it. Sorry, I just joined. Why is Colin crashing out? Why is he mad at you? I failed Colin horrifically. I forgot to delete a Patreon post that I didn't know I was supposed to delete. I don't know what I'm doing. Now Colin's got me crashing out. All right. Let's go for it, guys. Slop time. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for some intelligent slop. We're going to have a nice conversation here. So, you've likely heard the news by now, if you're not living under a rock. We had a really great stretch here of Xbox news, and I really enjoyed feeling that optimism. I'm trying not to lose touch with the feeling that the mommy of Xbox gave us all. Asha Sharma, right? Asha Sharma shows up, and we're seeing Copilot shut down. She's taking the easy dubs, but they're much needed dubs. And I'm like, yo, let's ramp up a little momentum here. What did we define it as the defining Duke? We called it little contact baseball, right? Just, we don't need home runs. Just a couple singles, get everyone around the bases, drive a couple runs home. That's how you win a ball game. Felt like Asha Sharma was playing a lot of contact baseball, but now, like, what do you call this? New York Mets ass energy. I say this as a Mets fan, by the way, that's going on at Xbox. We have an absolutely brilliant showcase for the most part. You know, for me, some specific pain points. Fallout 76 showing up a little too many times, more than the number 1. Did not like that. And then on top of that, you end with Call of Duty for a third year in a row. That kills my soul. But okay, with that all said, a lot of great stuff, commitment to exclusivity, a lot of great comments from all the Xbox execs. Feels like we're on the right track. We knew that they were going to shake up the business a little bit, but now, as we've seen with the news, a lot of it. Double Fine, Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, and maybe even Arcane Leon. And that's just the known names right now, all on the chopping block, potentially. Some having the potential to step out on their own and be able to go independent if someone wants to fund them or if they can crowdsource things, whatever it may be. Others, we'll see if they even have the funds to buy themselves out or if they're just going to be shut down and Xbox is going to lose all that talent. Point being is this was basically confirmed when we saw this post here from Double Fine. If all the reports from the rest of the industry were not enough to go by, here's Double Fine literally saying like, yeah, it's been a crazy day, guys. So why does this bring us to Game Pass? Well, we've seen a lot of strategy changes with Xbox, pardon me. And with those strategy changes and potential layoffs and studio closures, Xbox is effectively slashing the first-party portion of their Game Pass pipeline in a big way. These smaller, more boutique-style studios were here to feed Game Pass specifically. That is why they were there. They were not there to do what Forza Horizon does or a Halo could do or a Fallout or an Elder Scrolls. These were, again, smaller titles that would feed the Game Pass base, would be sustained by the Game Pass base, and the heavy hitters would generate a lot of the cash. That does not seem to be part of the plan, as we've seen with comments from executives like Matthew Ball, chief strategy officer at Xbox, saying things like, we're focusing less on niche and more on tentpole titles. With that in mind, we've seen that the conversation of exclusivity started to go up in the air. So let's settle that first and foremost. The rumor was Xbox is already walking back on exclusivity. Jez Corden called it fanfic. Matthew Ball stepped in amidst all these rumors and said, these rumors are false. Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution will stay exclusive. There are no conversations. There have been no conversations to reverse course. And as we said last week, players can continue to expect signature exclusives from us every year. Cool to see. Here's the unfortunate part of where Xbox is at. When you announce a big game like Senua, one of the major reveals from that showcase, very quick turnaround time and addressing fan feedback, which made me very excited for the game, like more combat driven, more action driven, has a lot more mainstream potential as well. I was pumped about that. To learn a week later, like, oh, Hellblade Studio going to be getting shut down. What? Why did they announce their game? Why did they reveal their game? So part of me, if like I look at this stuff and I go, dude, give it a week and this strategy will change. That's the type of time Xbox is on. So what brings us into this is Game Pass. These exclusives need to sell. Game Pass has been known to hurt that stuff. But we also know that Game Pass has subsidized some losses. We learned this through an article by Windows Central. Shout out to the homie Jez Corden. I want to reread this part here just so we freshly remember what's going on with Xbox Game Pass and what it's done for their business and why they're not going to necessarily immediately get rid of it, but you got to wonder about day one games with how things are headed here. So here's what he wrote. Microsoft and other companies love subscription model services because it gives you a steady stream of predictable income among the hits and misses of regular game development. Microsoft hasn't been shy to admit that its $30 price hike last year absolutely battered the business model. When you consider that Xbox Game Pass has been subsidizing departments that have been able to fully deliver yet, you can imagine what kind of damage that did on top of everything else. Indeed, the notorious 30% accountability margin target, I'm told, was actually an average. Some of the businesses were operating to up to 40% accountability margin to offset misses. Putting Call of Duty into Game Pass cannibalized sales on both sides. As players fled the $30 price tag, there was less money from Game Pass to subsidize Call of Duty's sales that were cannibalized for those who remained. The model broke under its own weight and had to be reset to a lower price, wiping out a year or more of growth. So on that note, the way Xbox responded to this was with the Game Pass price update for Ultimate in April. They wrote here, beginning this year, future Call of Duty titles won't join Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass at launch. New Call of Duty games will be added to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass during the following holiday season about a year later, while existing Call of Duty titles already in the library will continue to be made available. Game Pass Ultimate will continue to have access to hundreds of games on console and PC, including current Call of Duty titles, in-game benefits, online multiplayer, unlimited cloud gaming, and major day one releases. It's that latter part that I'm really focused on here because I feel like Xbox is kind of meeting the crossroads here. I feel like what happened to Call of Duty can apply to their other major upcoming products or recently shipped products. Think of Forza Horizon 6. This game is exploding out the gate, doing really well, and it's only on Xbox and PC. Is Xbox looking at that the same way they're looking at Call of Duty, thinking, oh, we could have made more money? How much more money? Let's use Call of Duty as the example here. This comes from GameSpot. Call of Duty lost $300 million in sales due to Game Pass. This was a report. They say Black Ops 6 was the biggest selling game of the year in the United States for 2024, and it set a franchise record as well. However, the decision to make Black Ops 6 a day one launch title for Xbox Game Pass reportedly cost the Call of Duty franchise millions of dollars. No way! I didn't expect that. Okay. According to Bloomberg, a former Microsoft employee disclosed that Call of Duty console and PC sales were $300 million lower in 2024 than they were in 2023. As previously disclosed, 82% of all Black Ops 6 sales came from PlayStation consoles. So not only were they losing money from Game Pass, but since most of the player base was on a console that they were only getting 30% from, and the Game Pass price hike resulted in money loss, they were losing things everywhere, right? So they need to sell Call of Duty and make maximum dollar. They cannot give it away for, quote, free, end quote, in any conceivable way. You have to wonder if they're cutting off the pipeline from boutique studios that would be supplying Game Pass with content. Are they just going to go to third party and pay for that? Because then third party is going to charge them even more, because now Xbox is no longer dependent internally on that stuff. They're dependent externally, which you'd have to think the business minds would say, oh, it's a premium now. It already was, but now like they really need us. They have no other answer, because if you're going to start doing more tentpole releases like Forza, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fable, these types of games that are supposed to be heavy hitters, it's like, okay, cool. Are they going to get the Call of Duty treatment as well, where it's like, oh, we're going to lose a lot of money here? We did see that Game Pass is flirting with this idea of kind of a cable style approach, like pick what networks you want, basically, and pay for those. So do I need to pay for Fortnite benefits if I don't want them? Can I just get day one games? Maybe that's an option moving forward. But I do wonder if they want to cut that out. Because, again, they're getting rid of all these boutique things. And I don't know how you supply Game Pass as regularly when you don't have these smaller games that are supposed to. By the way, I know these games did not match this part of the qualifications. But when they're supposed to be quickly made so that they're constantly feeding the service, that's one thing that no longer will exist by the end of this month. And then when you combine that with Game Pass also losing millions of subscribers when they hike the price, I know they've returned to growth, but thinking about that, this has also effectively reset the goals of Xbox Game Pass. Keep in mind, when this started out, we learned that they were looking for 100 million subscribers, and they barely got to, at least based on numbers we got after the Activision Blizzard King acquisition, a third of the way. So they were making decent progress. This was subsidizing losses. It seemed to be some measure of profitable, but now it's been hurt by the price hike. Now there's going to be less first-party content, and now you're less inclined to put your other first-party content there. So it's a bit of a chain reaction, and I think the future of it is questionable. The question is, how quickly do they react? And my answer would be, if my predictions are correct, not fast at all. This is still making them a lot of money, and it's in a similar predicament, at least financially, as what we saw with Games for Gold. Remember when Game Pass was kind of on the rise? People were like, best service in gaming. Nothing gets better than this. And at the same time, you were kind of wheeling out, here comes Xbox Games for Gold. And they're throwing in the most absolute dog shit titles in there to give you your free games every month to meet the obligation. But you could tell the budget was going into Game Pass. And every month, Games for Gold would show up, and we'd all ask the same question. Why are we still doing this? The answer was simple. Xbox had people paying $10 a month to play online when it's free anywhere else. And that was resulting in millions and millions of dollars. Same thing goes here. Game Pass may not have met its exact goals that we knew Xbox and Microsoft were shooting for. Game Pass may have lost millions of subscribers, but they're also resetting the business. And I think that means resetting what Game Pass is supposed to do. Maybe Game Pass is not meant to meet that 100 million subscriber goal, at least as it currently stands. Maybe it's meant to just be the subsidizer so that they can experiment a little bit more with like Xbox Game Studios deals by kind of what they did with something like funding Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, or helping kind of merge Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja and Platinum Games for Ninja Gaiden 4. Those sorts of options could kind of present themselves a little bit here. So I think that's where Game Pass could be headed a little bit is again, like maybe it's used for those things. It could be also going in the PS Plus direction of like, let's monetize back compat, where like you get our back compat library in here. Let's focus on a big library, and it's sort of supplemental to the main thing we're doing, which is why PS Plus has made a lot of money. But they did all of this again, these kind of changes with things like Game Pass already with Call of Duty because they lost money. So I feel like they could risk losing money on these other big endeavors. And you have to think about, like we just learned, Gears of War 4 is in the number here somewhere. Gears of War E-Day is rumored to be $400 million as a budget. So I mean, that's already fighting an uphill battle when you're spending $400 million on a project, releasing it to a platform that is underperformed because of bad business decisions. So the base isn't as big as it should be. It was originally supposed to be multi-plat, no matter what Aaron Greenberg and co say. We all know this is obviously supposed to be a PlayStation game for a while, which could have somewhat justified the spending. Even then, that's an out-of-control budget. But can you imagine what Fable's budget is? Fable, the game that started development in like 2018, getting that team together, starting hiring, concepting, ideating. Like, I know it was a small squad before they expanded, but I'm sure that is probably more than Gears of War. So this is just a ton of money that they're just willingly losing. It's hard to imagine. And so again, I look at Game Pass and I'm like, I think its future is more in question. This is the part that we're not really talking about enough because we're looking at the studio closures, we're looking at the money, the talent they're going to lose, that sort of stuff. But I think it's going to change the fate of this service. I don't think it goes away immediately, but I do think there is going to be major changes to how they approach it. And I think the best thing Xbox can do with all of the bad news lingering around is probably toss out there something that gives people something to cling on to that's a little more positive. Like, here's how we're moving with Game Pass moving forward. Here's your kind of pick your plan approach, or here are the franchises we're focusing on. Here's how we're handling them. Something to offset it would really do them some good, because it seems like, given that a lot of these decisions that they're making are tied to the end of the quarter, they have to sit on their hands and all this shit is leaking. So they need some good news to offset it. We'll see what they do. But I just want to have a talk about that kind of future of Game Pass and where it could go. I wish Asha and co the best. Keep in mind, this was a Phil Spencer led part of the business, and I think fans still count on it. I think it's still appreciated. I think it's still necessary. But are you really willing to spend a ton of money with third party to supply this when you had first party originally already planned to, like, budgeting around it and supplying this stuff, content for the pipeline? Are they going to go that route? Can they ever go that route again? It's hard to imagine. So we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts. Of course, I'd love to hear everyone else's on what's going on with Xbox and their moves with Game Pass, because I think that'll be a very interesting shift. Time will tell, though. Time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, chat, want to hear from you. That's the end of the slot for now. How are we feeling about Xbox and Game Pass? Those are kind of my thoughts on just where I think they could go with things, and how I think the service is a little bit more in question currently than people have given credit for. But let me get this video up to Emmett, and then we'll have a nice lengthy chat about what Xbox could do. So let's see here. We'll call this Game Pass Future. Fine. I read that Asha was displeased with Bethesda's output. Would be shocked if there were layoffs at Bethesda, and how would that affect Elder Scrolls being exclusive or not? Would I be shocked? No. They target Bethesda every time. I'm sure Bethesda's going to get hit again. How would that affect Elder Scrolls being exclusive or not? I don't know if it's connected. If they're, like, trying to extract... I don't know if... Again, with exclusivity and where things are headed right now, Elder Scrolls could be a weapon they use to get people into the box. It's like their greatest asset. Or it's Call of Duty. You could argue it would be bigger than Call of Duty the year it comes out. It has a chance to be. Do you really want that confined to two platforms? Don't you want it everywhere? So it can go either way. I think if they're trying to slim down and make maximum dollar, and they're looking at Call of Duty as sort of a basis for what other high-performing projects can be, the ones that they can't afford to not extract maximum value on, then I think Elder Scrolls 6 could fit that pocket. So we'll see. Trust Asha. Hey, dude, I love the profile picture. We love Lego characters here. I love the faith in Asha here. If they drop day one games, they should give out a heavy discount, like 50%. Otherwise, it's hard to sell. It's a hard sell to stay subscribed. Yeah, that could offset it a little bit. something that provides value and saving. You know, I think that could go a long way for players. Because I think if you just outright say no more day one games, at least for first party, you're going to lose a lot of subs. But if that results in a price drop too, maybe that makes it a little bit more easy to hang around with. Because right now, I don't think Game Pass is in a subscribe and forget about it price range. So that could help too if they equivalent the price to something that, you know, it's like, oh, it's only $10 a month. You know, it's easy to forget about. Xbox makes a good dime off of it. I don't know. Well, let's see here. Where is Sir Emmett? There we are. Okay, let me catch up with chat here. I was just sending Emmett the video. Starfield got me back when I came in. Oh, wow. Interesting. That makes sense. The Starfield hype was crazy. I get why they want Game Pass deals for third parties instead of most of their first party. A lot of first party titles weren't doing well on Game Pass. At least now they can go after specific third party games. That's a good point. They could target specific growth areas or areas that could create growth. But I feel like you're just asking third party to upcharge you. Because without that like game, it's not like Xbox can say, oh, we're making this and this will be a good Game Pass grower. It's like, we have to go buy that stuff. Maybe. I could be overthinking it. They want to sell you a cloud subscription to play Elder Scrolls 6 on a rig you can't afford. Oh, God, don't doom me now, man, bro. I don't want to hear that. Come on. Zencha said, I'm probably naive, but I think there are some bad actors on sites like X that make up stuff for the sake of clicks instead of telling the truth. You're not naive. I think that's completely true. There's a lot of lies on X. That's why we don't use it too often as a direct source, and we go straight to the original reports. So you are not naive. You are correct. People are deliberately disingenuous on that platform. Not all of them, but a lot of people are. Third-party deals for Game Pass are much cheaper than this first-party studios. Well, think of it this way, Christopher. Xbox wanted a big exclusive per quarter. That's what they wanted. Or a exclusive or a first-party game per quarter. We'll just call it for now. So now they have to go outwards and buy that stuff. And they have to buy stuff that would draw the same level of mind share that their own games could have created. And there are moments like, again, you look at some of the studios that are on the list for shutdowns, they created their own conversation, but not loud enough, I would say. But when you think of the games they'd have to target, and if these companies want to play ball with this, especially you have companies like Square Enix, which are increasingly going multi-platform and don't want to do exclusivity deals, don't want to cut into their sales. I don't know if third party is inclined to support this day one. I'm sure they're all on the same page of like, eventually. And I think Game Pass has always been great for AA, indie, like that sort of stuff. That's why I think like something like Expedition found its way onto Game Pass. It's really great for that sort of exposure for companies that have, a $10 million budget, and they can make a lot of money off of Game Pass or fund a lot of their project off of Game Pass. That goes a really long way for them. It depends how much something like a Expedition is a grower for them. Did that generate a lot for that platform? That third party deal versus how much they spent. In that case, yes, it would be significantly cheaper. I prefer Game Pass as a discount service than a play day one service. With how much coming out now, I don't find day one access valuable anymore. I'm in the same camp. Like, I know that's like definitely not the popular take, but I'm in the same camp that I think like day one is awesome, but also more for like the value proposition of like, oh, I subscribe for a month and that's it. Like if they want to keep me in there, I think more additions to back compat, more classic editions, classic achievements, services like that combined with a growing library would be awesome. There are some games though. I mean, I don't think day one will ever go away because again, I look at PS Plus and I'm like, PS Plus does day one games, not from first party though. That's the key point. One Pump Man. Sup, Matty? If they drop day one, I would say be clear when they will come to Game Pass. That way people choose to either wait or buy. If they also if they don't do boutique, indies can fill in for Game Pass. True, indies would be cheaper probably too. It's an interesting bet because it's also possible that like AAA course corrects and gets a little bit more affordable. But I don't know. Better chance of pigs flying, am I right? As for them telling you when things would come to the service, I think that transparency would be welcome so that people could make like, do I want to wait a year or do I want to play this now? I think a lot of people would just, if the game looks great, would just play now. And I think that would benefit Xbox. And for those who want to wait, they'll eventually get it. But I don't know, if you want to test gamers' patience at the same time, I mean, PlayStation learned that lesson with Steam. So it's so hard to untangle that Game Pass knot. It really is. I wouldn't say impossible, but it's really difficult. Frenchie asked, how low on your backlog is Ragnarok? Pretty damn low, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, there's so many other games I'd rather play. I would say out of all the PlayStation first party stuff, it's probably the highest. That or Yote. But there's just so many RPGs, immersive sims, and JRPGs I want to play first. So yeah, unfortunately, Ragnarok is low on the priority list. No disrespect to those who love those types of games. Just, again, like, if you're like a Pragmata, which gives me something really unique in gameplay, I don't care about the Just One experience at all. You want to give me third-person over-the-shoulder shit, and you give me story with that kind of soul combined with that kind of gameplay, the hacking gameplay, that great-ass gameplay loop of upgrade systems, like, fuck yeah. But yeah, sorry, Frenchie. I know he says, damn it. I know, Frenchie. Look, put it this way. I was talking to Colin about it. I said, like, Laufey did not get me any sort of desire to go and play more God of War. I was like, I'll play the God of War remakes. I love the fucking old God of War games for sure. Those were awesome. But Laufey did not make me go like, yeah, you know what? I need to, like, really get in on this shit. Dragon, I do plan on playing Wolverine at launch. Complete simp for Wolverine. Frenchie said, love Ghost of Tsushima, but Yote didn't grab me. I've heard that from a few people. But like, I definitely want to see it for myself. Maddie, random thing, but have you seen this Twitter debate from people saying you don't have to play a game to be a fan of it? Really? No, I have not seen this debate. You can give me the source. Why not see the source? See where it is. Translation, I absolutely hate God of War and all PlayStation players. You got me. But if you like God of War 2018, why not play Ragnarok? It's a totally fair question. It's just that, like, I've consumed, put it this way, PlayStation set a template for a type of video game, and then a lot of the industry copied that. And so I'd get that type of experience in a million one places, such as a series I really do like, A Plague Tale, Innocence and Requiem, very obviously inspired by The Last of Us. And when you get a lot of those experiences coming in, as I talked about in my video, they all kind of blur together. And then when the time comes where here comes PlayStation, who kind of led the charge on that, it's been like 5 years. In the case of Ragnarok, I don't believe it was even close to 5 years. I think it was more like 4. Was that a 2022 game? You guys let me know. It was not that long a wait. That's why Ragnarok is top of the list. I'm like, that was a good turnaround time. But I don't wait, in the case of like Tsushima to Yote, like 5 years for, in that period of time, I'm playing similar style experiences. When that comes around, it's like, oh, it's kind of more of the same. PlayStation's biggest strength was always letting things go. And I'll say that I will be stubborn on that fact. I don't think you can disagree with that. I say this as someone who's been a lifelong PlayStation fan. I don't think you can disagree with the fact that when you look at PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, how their ability to move on and let go was their best strength, and how they would always find new ground to stand on. I mean, when they left behind Sly Cooper, which is one of my favorite franchises, they made it worth it because I got Infamous. And when they moved on from that, we not only got next-gen Infamous, but then we got Ghost of Tsushima. So that's my point, is like running it back on PS5. Like, I'll eventually play these games, to be clear. Like, I've never said I wouldn't. I just said I'm not drawn to them right now. And a lot of people have had such a strong reaction. And this, I'm not saying this defensively. I'm just saying the kind of level of pressure people would try to put on you to make, this is why I think a lot of reviewers cave, because it's like, I don't give a fuck. But a lot of, you see the pressure I'm getting for saying I'm not playing a type of game right now, you know? And it's like, it's totally fine. Like, I get people want me to enjoy these things, but like, it's more fair to the game that I play it when I'm ready. Like, I know my taste. I don't need to go and play these games right now if I know I'm kind of tired of them. So when I've experienced that so much and I wait 5 years for the next game from the same company that's delivered kind of transformative experiences and they kind of run it back, it's like, all right, dude, I don't need to fucking rush this then. There's a ton of other shit coming out that appeals to me right now. And when I'm ready for more of that third-person open world stuff, guess what? Just like when I missed a ton of RPGs, JRPGs, and I've been catching up on those, when I'm done with those and I'm ready for this, I got a whole pool to dive into, and that's fucking awesome. So, I mean, use your backlog to your advantage. God forbid you have your own desires. Being pressured could leave a bad taste too. That's a good point, Zerofication. Yeah, you never want to, again, like, I listen and I love to have the conversation, but like, I know in this case, like, normally I'm like, okay, if I have like a shit take, I'm like, okay, you know, L by me, let's just let it be. But in the case of a type of game, that's like putting a puzzle game in front of me, like, you have to play this right now. It's like, what the fuck do you mean I have to play this? It's like, no, I don't want to. I'll probably like the game less. And I don't think that's fair to whenever I do retrospectives for things like God of War, Ragnarok, or Horizon, or Ghost of Yotei. I think it's more fair to those games, like these other games I've missed that I do on Retro Rebound, that I play them when I'm ready. So I know people take it as like fanboy fodder, but it's really not that at all. I love video games. Anyone who watches my shit knows. So again, that's why I don't get defensive about it. It's like, okay, you think it's because I hate PlayStation, you think it's because I love Xbox, or you think I'm a Nintendo guy. I don't fucking know anymore. Like, it's like, okay, sure. I'll take that any day. Sure. Couldn't dropping day one games open them up to legal trouble? I imagine the people who stacked multiple years would be hella pissed off. I didn't think of that. I don't know how that would work. Because eventually, if you want that to go, it would have to go. Maybe there's some, I don't know. That's a Hoglaw question. I could not give you an educated answer on that. It's a really good point. Matty with the fatty, Cog with the hog, best duo. Thank you, Nerd Riz Gaming. Thank you. Matty with the fatty. We'll take it. Thought experiment. If Microsoft removes Gears E-Day from Game Pass, what's the guesstimate of Xbox sales? 3 milli. I think Xbox fans will show up. Plus it's on Steam. I think they'll show up. I don't know if it'll be, I don't think anything will be enough, but I think 3 milli. I'll give them at least that. Hopefully no one asks you to play Lies of Fever a million times. Fuck. If Sony's formula is stale, which is fair, then why haven't you tried Returnal of Sorrows yet? Because it's very different. How did Pragmata look different? Pragmata didn't look different. Like I said, it played differently. Returnal and Sorrows are ones I never really got to. I actually forget about those often. Not Sorrows, but Returnal I do forget about from time to time. That is one I wanted to play. I will say in my defense, although there are ones I'm more interested in. I've never liked Bullet Hell that much. You guys are making me talk about all the shit I don't like. I'm making it sound like I'm a pretentious piece of shit. But I'm not really a big Bullet Hell guy. Like, it's why I really love Undertale from like a story and like character and music point of view, but like the gameplay, I'm like, oh, fucking Bullet Hell, bro. I'm so bad at these things. Like, it's just a type of game I've never jived with. But Housemarque makes amazing games like Resogun on PS4. I fucking love Resogun. So yeah, I feel like Returnal at least looked like that. One of the reasons I didn't play Returnal at launch, I actually have it in my collection. I didn't play it at launch because I know it had like a save issue where people were like losing their runs, and that scared the fuck out of me. So, that is my explanation for that. That is a very good call out, though. I think that's fair. I like to refer to my backlog as my retirement. Yeah, you just coast out of your career. You just play these games for the rest of your life. Perfect. Doesn't like PS narrative games. Doesn't like PS bullet hell games. I know. I'm just a hater, Emo. I know. I'm just a hater. Screw that shit, man. It's okay because you're our pretentious piece of shit and we like you for it. Thanks, guys. Thanks. It's a nuance. The problem is it's a nuanced conversation because I think the best clapback I got from it all is like, okay, why do you like Gears of War E-Day for running it back? And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like we had a whole conversation about this on Defining Duke, and it really brought about a good talk of like timing and like how Xbox got away from things and bringing things back to the essence and expanding on a technological level in ways that make sense. Like Gears E-Day looks the best it ever has. Its animations are beautiful, which is kind of fed into its cover system. Instead of doing Gears 5, where they create these big open wide like zones, Gears E-Day is now like a more intricate city space with co-op driven level design. And that's kind of more Gears essence, but building on top of it. So it's still Gears of War ass shit. But again, it's using its technology in, I think, ways that fit the DNA of that franchise better. So it is returning to form, and there are going to be tons of people who go, it's just Gears of War. But I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, it's, yes, like 1 through 3, but way better, way bigger. And that is more appealing than what 4 and 5 pulled off, which, by the way, I'm not a hater of 4 and 5. So it's a really good conversation. I mean, for those who engage with it in good faith, it makes me really happy because it's like a really good thing to talk through. I guess I'll forever be, someone mentioned about being like naive in the super chat. I will always be super naive with this shit because like I'll always put out these conversations like, okay, can't wait to read the comments. Like I can't wait to see the conversation, people engaging with each other. And it's like, oh, they think I like hate PlayStation. Okay. A couple other here. Does Souls-like games get the staleness? Maybe a little. I talked about this a little bit. What was this on Defining Duke? Yeah, a little bit. Like I go for the creme de la creme Souls-like games now for sure because there's so many. Like with all due respect, Lords of the Fallen was kind of like mid to me, so I just like didn't fuck around with it after a while. Neo is excellent. I always try to make time for Neo. So I played Neo 1 and 2. I've yet to play 3, but Neo is always excellent. Lies of P, I think, is like the best Souls-like competitor out there. That's complete excellence. So like that gets played. But everyone else who tries to be a Souls-like or have the lock-on camera and the same movement system and whatnot, like, yeah, that sort of stuff. I'm like, really? I think of like Hell is Us. Hell is Us is a game I really like, but Hell is Us went for a Souls-like combat system that didn't really need it, and it wasn't even Souls-like difficulty. Anything From Software does gets played. That's, I mean, I haven't played Armored Core, but you get the idea. Because they're just so good. Just there's a quality level that you got to hit. And that's a really competitive field. But it has yet to get stale for me. But if it's competitors coming in and just kind of basically doing a simpler version of what FromSoft did, that's worn off on me. It's the same conversation, right? When we started to get Dark Souls 1 and then Dark Souls 2, and then here came the Surge. The Surge was awesome because, instead of targeting a whole person, you target their body parts and you cut them off, and that's how you kill them. That's how you get loot. And like it became about these little gimmicks. Lords of the Fallen, the original one, not the one we're getting now, but the original one in 2014 was just like another Souls-like game. That was fine because I wanted more of that. But now there's so many of them that you just pick the ones from the top that are really good. That's why a Pragmata cracks through, because Pragmata, again, for me in that kind of third person over the shoulder thing, its gameplay is super fucking unique. So this is a great question. I still like Souls-like though, for sure. Studio closures and no exclusives. Why Helix now? Good question. I mean, they seem to be committing to exclusives, so that's it. But it also seems like Helix is getting a retool we don't know about. That could be a part of the news at the end of this month. So we'll see on that. Would the Jedi series be a PS-style game? It's a little bit of a hybrid of the two questions you just asked before, Shiva. It's a little bit of the both, right? It's a little Souls-like. It's a little third person. I will say this, that's my bias talking. Star Wars needs great games. I grew up on my favorite game of all time is a Star Wars game. Fucking spare me on this one, please. You guys can kick the shit out of me for this one, but spare me on this one. I guess maybe a little bit. Even if Gears is $400 million, it has Horde and multiplayer. They likely recoup a lot of cash through Battle Pass and skins. Yeah, it's about the player base sticks around, right? That's a huge part of it. Player base has got to hang around. But yeah, I think they can. It's a good point, though. I was thinking dollar sales, as in unit sales. But you're totally right about microtransactions. That could be a big part of it. You have to justify yourself about this. More people are pointing out Sony's lack of variety. Skill Up, even IGN have done it. I'm actually disappointed Skill Up backed off due to fanboys. I don't think I'm trying to. Oh, I didn't watch his follow up on that. I don't. Okay, wait. No, I do remember this because he mentioned. What did Ralph say? He said in his video something like he was looking for something brand new each time, and he understands that some people just wait for this thing for years and years. I wouldn't say that he was giving in to the fanboys there. I think that's the perspective you have to hold as a reviewer, and I don't think he lost sight of that. I think it's just a perspective people want to make sure is acknowledged in all of this, that we as enthusiasts and game reviewers play way more than even I would say a hardcore gamer. We're constantly jumping game to game to game. I've tried to slow that down a little bit and be a lot more picky, but guys like him or Jake, they're, jumping constantly. Right. And so I think it's easy to just always be give me something new. And a lot of people want more of running it back, which is why, again, to this conversation about PlayStation exclusives and whatnot, it's why I say, I don't think people are wrong for liking it. I'll never tell you you're wrong or that these are dog shit or anything like that. You never heard me say it's a bad game. It's just I'm saying it blurs for me. I'm not really as interested in them. But yeah, I think it's just a good conversation to have. And I think in the case of Skill Up, it's just acknowledging that I think when you balance it out between the two, you can still come to the same verdict. But I think you could acknowledge that some people aren't going to give a fuck about that. It's for a lot of people, I put this in air quotes, Yote is the same as Tsushima. People are great. Just like I am with Fallout. New Vegas is the same as 3 with better writing and choice. Great. We all have our own respective tastes. Great super chat there, though. Narwaffle says, thanks for your Retro Rebound videos. I have purchased a PS Vita and I'll be playing my first Persona game for Golden and Tearaway. That is awesome, dude. You picked the 2 fucking best games. Have fun. That is awesome. Awesome. Oh, I forgot about this. Outer Worlds 2 DLC pulse check? I'm a little worried for Obsidian, man. I'm going to be honest. They had 2 flops. Outer Worlds 2 did not do that well. Avowed did not do that well. Avowed lost its DLC support. I think they committed to 2 expansions. I think Outer Worlds 2 would benefit so much from it, especially if they're, as I've said a million times, the back half of the game and really filling out those companion characters some more. Maybe letting you join the villain faction would be pretty cool too. I feel it might be a tough pill to swallow for them as a team. Maybe for us as fans, we're okay, it's fine. But I really think it might be something they have to drop. I can't see a world where they don't downsize a little bit, unfortunately, just with some of the misses that they had last year. And Pentiment missed. Grounded was really the only hit. I feel like their margins might not be as great, even though their output's great and they deserve a lot more of a leash. We'll see. I can't say I'm feeling great, but I would love to see it. It also hasn't showed up at any of the shows I predicted it to show up at. So I'm at this point, are people going to care about Outer Worlds 2 DLC if it comes out at the end of this year? In the madness of GTA? Maybe they shadow drop it. Maybe that's the play. Cody Brandman, thank you so much. Hello, Maddie. I'm always at work, but when you are live, but I want to say thanks for all the content. That's my pleasure, dude. Thank you. I hope work's going well. Also, is Bethesda doing anything for the 40th anniversary? Because I haven't heard anyone even mention it. Maybe something at QuakeCon. That was my thought process about their anniversary. Knowing Bethesda, they have absolutely nothing prepared for the anniversary because I don't remember the last time they celebrated an anniversary. It was a big deal that they were celebrating Fallout Day. That was oh shit, they're fucking acknowledging October 23rd? Really? So I'm not really holding my breath on this one. It would be awesome to see them do that. But usually at QuakeCon or one of these shows that they do, they put together kind of a video package. And I feel like that would be a good place to do it. But I don't know if they're going to do, from a gamer point of view, I don't know if they're going to do anything beyond that. I think Bethesda is just in such a dire spot right now. I feel like their attention's just elsewhere. They're like, can we stay alive? We'll worry about our anniversary next year. We'll do the 41st anniversary or something. I don't know. Have you played Rise of the Ronin? That's in my collection, but no. No, I bought that game because I love Team Ninja. And like I was like, I remember, actually no, I got that for, where did I get that? I got that on a holiday sale. Yeah, I got that on a holiday sale. Black Friday, I want to say. I bought it because it's Team Ninja though. I low-key like your idea of skipping GTA to play all these titles coming out. Yeah, I'm just saying. We'll see how GTA looks. GTA looks like it might be doing something we've never seen before, so might be worth being there for it. But get 2 free months to catch up on your backlog as well. I'm sure you answered this. Your thoughts on Xbox? That's a big question, Dark Hero. I did answer it. We do have a lot of that earlier in the stream. I don't want to send you there, though, if you don't have the time for it. I think yesterday's video also summed it up really well, so there's that too. But what I would just say is, like, we're just on for the ride, dude. Like, it's not anger. It's not even disappointment. It's not like I'm happy it's happening. I'm just like, let's see where it all takes us. Like, really, that is the just, okay, here we go. Like, just again, when you see a company announce a big game last week and then they are fucking shutting the studio down later that month, it's like, okay, fuck it. Like, I don't fucking know anymore, bro. You can't make any, like 90% of my predictions about this company could be accurate, but because they can change on a dime like that, there's just, the ground is shifting beneath them. It's nothing, there's no stability for its fans, for its workers. So just, it's like, all right, whatever. Let's just see where this takes us. Sure. And I'll wait for my reaction when the news is official. Oh, I love the Rock Lee super chat here. There we go. Let me get a sip of water here. My mouth is dry. Do you think we're in an environment where studios like Double Fine can survive on their own? There are breakouts every year, but no, most don't. Yes and no. Yes, because I think fans are more ready to support than ever. Virality does exist. I do think there's an abundance of content, and I don't think there's a lot of people who have time for, again, like if I'm looking at Keeper, it's like you don't really know what that is from the outside looking in. It's just like, oh, Lighthouse game. Kiln, it's like, oh, pottery game. Like, there's weird, and then there's so weird that it's not even like Suda51 weird where your brand is weird. It's just like you're not really fighting. And I think that stuff gets passed by now. And people in the industry, I'm not really trying to pick on Double Fine because I really love them. Don't get it wrong. I'm just saying, though, that like they're an example of, I see a lot of people responding saying, man, well, this is such creative teams. These are such special teams. And, you know, they do things that no one else would do. And I'm like, sometimes people don't do those things because they're not great ideas. You know? And I sound like an asshole for that. But like, that's the truth. Sometimes these are just not good ideas. Like, these are just ideas that should not get by because it's like, hey, the money and the time spent on this will put us in a bad spot. And we don't know in the current infrastructure we're working within if survival is guaranteed. Some people will just, as a result, throw caution to the wind and say, well, we should do whatever we want. But I think they could survive on their own for 2 reasons. 1, they have a lot of fans that love them, and I think they could crowdfund their games. 2, especially in light of this news, I think if they went out and immediately said, here's our game, we're crowdfunding it, we need you, I think fans would step up. I think we have a really supportive industry that would happily do that, even if they wouldn't play the game. Like, I'm not even a diehard Double Fine fan. I love them, but I'm not like, it's like I played all their games. I would throw my money into that. Because it's like, yeah, dude, like I have an opportunity to do something impactful and sort of like push them forward. So I think there's that. I also think it comes down to game budgets and where your studio is located. And I think a lot of these companies are going to have to sort of face the music that, like, you need more remote hires. You need to look overseas a little bit more. Find talent over there where the cost of living isn't so high, and that these, you know, primarily basing your entire industry out of a single state not only has a cost on creativity where we're seeing similar stories from these big studios at times, but we're also starting to see a bit of an issue where it's like, this is one of the most expensive places in the world to live. And so you get these massive budgets for projects that don't even look or feel that way. And I think they will have to scale down and look around the world and maybe find new talent in places that's more sustainable. So, long answer, but like, I do think they can survive. I just think we cannot continue to do business the same way. Joe Rocket, thank you for your super chat. Hey, Maddie, as much as I love Phil, he was a gamer at heart and he loved games, and I just don't think he was a good businessman. I felt he bought too many studios and didn't know what to do with them. Yeah, I mean, I like Phil a lot too. He's a very nice guy. I met him before. He's a super nice guy. I don't know if I would say he's a bad businessman because, I mean, there are some moves he made that kept Xbox afloat, like Game Pass. Game Pass is one of the main reasons we still have Xbox today. Like, truthfully. So Phil has my respect for that. I think with the vision for the studios and what they were all supposed to do and kind of betting Xbox's business on subscription services, I think that was just, I think he would take that one back. I think not canceling or helping these teams get to projects that would be more impactful for the business, I think he would also take that back. There is the optics of it all that I think he may have been subject to, if I'm being really fair here. Like, okay, Bethesda is purchased by Xbox, and we read the report from Jason Schreier. Breaking. Phil Spencer and co. have canceled the latest game from Arcane. It was a vampire co-op game that had a lot of the elements, like, again, we're reading this on paper. You don't know what Redfall is. That had a lot of the elements of past Arcane video games. You hear that and you're like, whoa, wait a second. That sounds great. We play it and we know what that's like. It wasn't good at all. Phil, I think, ran away, at least from the fan point of view. It felt like he ran away from doing the right thing for these games. Like, I know for a fact that Arcane Austin, like, they wanted that fucking game canceled, Redfall. They definitely did. They did not want to keep working on that. They wanted to go with things like Prey. That's what they were built for. And they lost all that talent in making Redfall. And that was ultimately Bethesda's terrible call. But Xbox had inherited them as sort of an ability to save Bethesda from themselves. That whole Ready Player One campaign they did is they greenlit a bunch of stupid fucking live service projects that forever changed that company's fate. So, I don't have a ton of sympathy for Phil. He made his bed and laid in it, but I do think his biggest mistake was not cutting some of these projects short and focusing on big IP that Xbox had paid for. There's respect, and there's like, I envision a dinner. Look, Todd, we need a Fallout game. If you can't make it, I need to find someone else who will. Like I think those tough talks seem to be something that was averted because we went from no Fallout or Elder Scrolls games happening to now new leader comes in, sees money and goes, yo, why don't we have any more of these? And she's greenlighting them. So what gives? What changed? The leadership did. Same people who are making those games and own those IP are still there. Thanks for answering. Huge fan. Can't wait for your game. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's really nice, dude. Thank you, Dark Hero. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for the double super chat and just awesome having you in the stream. And thanks for your preemptive support on the game. Let us earn you and everyone else first, though. Let us do that first. But thanks for being ready to support. I really appreciate it, guys. Only thing keeping Obsidian alive is Grounded. Juan is spitting facts. I have nothing to disagree with here. As much as I love Obsidian's other games, Pentiment is brilliant. I really like the Outer Worlds too. I did not like Avowed, but I do think Grounded is the main reason they are where they're at. JBC writes, do you think Nintendo will do the thing and release Ocarina of Time at the same time as GTA 6? It sure seems to be something people want them to do, but I don't know. I think this could be end of October. Why would anyone want to go head to head with GTA? I mean, Nintendo does have the benefit of, like, GTA won't be on their platform, so it's for the Switch players who only have that and are looking for something new to play in the holidays. I guess when I say that, they could do it. But do they have to go like the same week as GTA? Maybe. Do I think they'll do that? No, I mean, I think Nintendo could, but I think they'll maybe flirt with early November. I don't think they need to go same week or really like right next to GTA. I think they can go a little bit before. I don't think anyone wants to go after, because then you're just going after a ton of money and time has been spent. Industry attention, conversation. I think Zelda could find its way in those two weeks before GTA. Cody Baraman, thank you. This is probably an uninformed question, but why does Xbox just let teams go? And I don't mean buying themselves out. Even if teams eventually go under, the optics of layoffs are worse. Let me reread that because I feel like I failed to comprehend it. Why does Xbox just let the teams go? And I don't mean buying themselves out. Even if the teams eventually go under, the optics of layoffs is worse. I guess what I would just say for this is like, ultimately, I think it just comes down to what's best for their bottom line. I think it's just like a shitty reality, you know? I really just think that's what it is. Like, I mean, they can't play I think in this case, it's not even about optics. It's like, we just need to rip the Band-Aid off. In my opinion, Cody. I think it's that simple. Occam Razor moment, right? I meant why doesn't. Okay, why doesn't Xbox just let teams go? And I don't mean buying themselves out. Even the teams go under the optics of... Okay, that changes the whole context of my answer. Thank you. Appreciate that, Cody. Yeah, someone just said it in chat. Ichigo said it in chat. Taxes. Again, this kind of goes back to bottom line. But why don't they let their teams just go? Pride. Look, I'm not going to say this is solely Matt Booty's thoughts, but like, okay, you're Matt Booty. You're doing a performance evaluation. You're the one who okay, just dream with me for a moment. You're the one who let Compulsion, Ninja Theory, and Double Fine go. And Arcane Leon. They found their footing. They got crowdfunding or they got another publisher. Arcane goes on to make Blade. Blade sells 5 million copies, wildly profitable, industry darling, 10 out of 10 title. Double Fine goes on to find tremendous success. People are talking about Psychonauts 3. It's happening. It's amazing. A couple million copies sold. Best performing game that they've seen. Why are these companies succeeding without us, Matt? So they're inclined to, because it would be a reflection on their performance, to not let these teams survive. That is also a very dark theory of mine. The main issue with modern gaming is time and content saturation. My backlog is full. So even when I pay for Game Pass, I don't have time to play. And for games outside of Game Pass, I can just move them to the backlog and buy them on sale. Yeah, this is what happened to me. It just became too much. Like, I don't need... Games are too long for Game Pass, in my opinion. Like, even the short ones are still, like, at minimum, like a weekend's worth. Like, I've spent a whole weekend just playing that, just solely consuming that. It's not like a movie where I can bang out, like, I'm going to do a Toy Story rewatch, like, starting today. You know, I'm just going to go through 1 through 4. And like, I can do that, right? Like, I can bang out 4 movies. But, like, you can't just do, like, 4 games unless they're, like, micro games. So, this is exactly, I think, one of the problems that is creeping into Game Pass is just, it's overwhelming in a way that I don't think helps the service. Because you can't make a ton of headway. People didn't ask for this game, I hear a lot. Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about, like, the studios that are at risk of being shut down, there's a lot of teams that just, like, you know, made things that people really weren't looking for. Juan is on a generational donation run right now. He really is, Juan. We appreciate you, dude. We appreciate anyone who supports with the super chats. They do make a huge difference. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. You single-handedly put me on Crossworlds. You probably won't touch World for a while. Brandon L., I'm telling you, bro. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is the better game, by far. I like Mario Kart World. It's got its moments. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is fucking god tier, though. It's so fun. Fun factor is off the charts. Hello, Spare Eyebrows. Welcome to the chat. Make yourself comfortable. All right, we got another one here from Sick Carnage Requiem. The man is back. The man with the mirror selfie is back. I think it'd be a terrible mistake to close Ninja Theory. If anything, make them a support team for Bethesda. A Fallout game with Ninja Theory's attention to sound and motion capture would be sick. Okay. I'm glad this is a conversation we get to have now. This is one of my thoughts. I'm like, wouldn't it be more worth it to get these companies stabilized with using your old IP? Specifically your moneymakers. Now, I'm not saying put fucking Ninja Theory on a Forza game, for God's sakes. But there are certain franchises that need a little more sauce. Little more spin-offs. Your Halos, your Fallouts, your Elder Scrolls, the list goes on. I think Ninja Theory making a Fallout game would be super fucking weird, but they kind of are making already a sort of fantasy style game because it's like, you know, all medieval. Fuck it, give them a psychological Elder Scrolls game. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, well, that's very much not in line with the Elder Scrolls identity. Brother, we got a fucking card game. We got a shitty fucking mobile game. And we got a great MMO. Like, I don't want to hear about this whole, I shouldn't say shitty. Legends was fine, but Legends was the exact opposite of what we wanted. Oh, we got Castles. Forgot about that one. Like, I was thinking of Blades, but we also got Castle, so we got a Fallout Shelter clone. I don't want to hear any of this, like, oh, psychological-driven Elder Scrolls game would be stupid. It would be much better than anything else we got. Now that I'm a new Vita owner, thoughts on Final Fantasy X? I really like it. Great Vita game. I like it a little bit less than others, but it's more so because of like the cloister of trials, like the puzzles and stuff, and some of the way random encounters work. It's a little old feeling in certain ways. I think that's a great remake candidate because it's a beautiful, amazing video game. It's just got a little tinge of age to it, but it's like the last true turn-based Final Fantasy game. Totally worth it on your Vita. That's where I played it there. I think let me check real quick. I think 10-2 is not on the cart though. So when you buy the HD collection, I think you're only buying 10, which is what most people want. But here we go. Let me check here. Give me one sec. Yeah, 10. So 10-2 is a redemption code. So and because the redemption code expires, when does this expire? Does it have a date on here? It usually does, but this is probably expired. Cool complete box set though. It's got like little art cards as well, which is kind of neat. You love that shit. But yeah, you would just get 10 on the cartridge. So if you're looking for 10 and 10-2, you might want to get it on, I don't know, PS3 or something. Don't get the Steam version. That's what I played it on, and it was not really great. Is there any merit to all three studios mentioned, or are also studios using Unreal Engine? No, I don't think it's an engine problem. If anything, that should help them, because if they're all using it, they can share tech a little bit easier. Kind of like what PlayStation does with a lot of their first-party stuff and proprietary tech, like, you know, Death Stranding using the Decima engine and some of those findings making its way into Horizon from what we saw. Like, that stuff is why Xbox went to Unreal Engine. But it seems like Xbox is also trying to, at least of what Asha Sharma said with their engineering, they're trying to do more proprietary stuff. So stuff like Forza Tech, id Tech, I think is going to be very valuable to them. Creation Engine. It's going to allow them to make maximum dollar without giving Epic a cut. Have Ninja Theory make a Halo Marine versus Flood game. Yeah, honestly, yeah, having Ninja Theory make anything involving the Flood with just the sounds they can make would be the fucking coolest, creepiest shit. They're so built for a survival horror game. That's the shame of it all. I would have loved to see that out of them. Let me cook, Maddie. Ninja Theory. Speaking of which, here we go. You are cooking, King Droid. Yeah, Ninja Theory cross Silent Hill. Why the fuck not? Why the fuck not? Yo, M-Dog. I never get called M-Dog by anyone but this super chat. When devs say games are hard, what do you mean? Things get crazy when systems interact. Each new idea is 10 times the bugs and the problems. I mean, you kind of said it yourself because you phrased it like a question, but then you said it yourself. Things get crazy where, yeah, there are just unintentional interactions that you don't know about. I think the other thing is just like, it depends how new the team is, as in if you're building from the ground up, there's just shit that you think would be more obvious and easy to understand that isn't. It's finding your game flow. It's finding the fun. It's leaving things open to kind of experiment and be subject to change before you start bolting it all down. There's a lot of reasons why game development is hard. I shouldn't say this. I don't subscribe entirely yet to the mindset of like, I hear like when I've talked to publishers and other developers, like it's a miracle when a game comes out. It's a complete miracle. I'm like, that should not be the way a business runs then. It shouldn't be a miracle that I started something and finished it. Like that should not be the industry standard. Like, oh, what a miracle. Every time it's a miracle. It's a beautiful thing that it actually even happened at all. Like, and I don't know if it's because like these games don't come together well at times because they're technology. And so like, it's what devs tell themselves because they're like, hey, we at least finished it. You know, that's more than most people do. It's probably buying into a lot of the stats of like so many games get started, but only this many finish and only this many reach the top. Fuck those numbers, dude. It's just like, it should not be built on the idea of like, oh, this is a miracle. At least that's my early few years into game development take where I've just experienced a decent amount of it. And I'm just like, I don't think this should just be some sort of product of a miracle. That sounds like bad process to me. So yeah, making games is tough, but I think doing a lot of things worthwhile is tough. I'm here late, but have you played or talked about Mina the Hollower? I'm 30 hours in and I'm hooked. Well, I will just say that I talked about it a little bit with stepping up to support teams and how like people would support Yacht Club, like, or I'm sorry, they'd support Double Fine like they'd support Yacht Club, that sort of thing. 7-Eleven also put it pretty well here. I feel like most games only come together in the end. Yeah, you don't really know just how great it is until that part. But Mina the Holler is one I have not played yet. I own it on Switch too, but I have yet to play, and I really want to. Ryan, I am still playing my Switch 2. I love my Switch 2. I just did a Mario Kart World retrospective, actually. Actually, that was one that when Locke suggested the idea to me, I was like, we don't know how this is gonna do. So I'd be curious to see if it's done. It's doing well. It's doing pretty well. Nice. Love to see it. We're breaking the Nintendo curse. I'm going to get another episode of Slop going in here in a sec, guys. Hang on one sec. I'll get to the super chats in just a moment. Okay. I just realized I didn't have the Skyrim music playing. Holy crap, holy. My bad, my bad. I did not know that. I want to hear it too. Yo, hear me out. Devil May Cry fans want a new game. Ninja Theory needs to make it with a dedicated audience. Yeah, honestly, they made a great Devil May Cry game in my opinion. I mean, not as good as like the Capcom ones, but like I fucking love that game. I'd be for it. I'm just saying. Machine XP, good to see you. I love all three studios, but the fact is each studio has had game releases that virtually no one has cared about, unfortunately, with or without Game Pass. Yep. I'm glad people are willing to have the tough talk. I feel like this stuff was originally taboo, and I don't think we need to be... I think what we're doing as a community is really great. We're having the tough pill to swallow conversation. Like, look, man, you know, we get it. We get why everyone's upset, but we have to be really honest about where we're at and what brought us here. And so I just don't think, until I see the news, I'm not raging out yet. Because I at least with these, I understand. With things like ZeniMax Online last year, I'm like, I don't understand. Shutting down, even something like The Initiative, I get it didn't seem to be going anywhere, but I feel like you had to figure that out because you owed it to yourself as a publisher of video games to show people that you could build your own talent. And you just proved that you couldn't because you're really bad at it. Which is why you go out and buy everything. Like, you just had to prove people wrong and you didn't. So, I'm just glad we're having the tough talks. I think it's important in this case because it just feels like I can't be swallowing these pills any longer. I've been saying that a lot today, haven't I? It's just a tough pill to swallow. What else can I say, bro? How long should it take to find the fun? Good question, Neon. It depends how, I guess, big your loop is, how many parts are within it. A lot of devs say it's the first thing you should find. Like, you should be able to find it, make it playable, and then build around it with, like, art and story and that kind of stuff. I think it's actually really how Pragmata got going. Like, Pragmata is a great example, I think, of, like, balancing and finding the fun and then building a game around that. So, I say it should be pretty immediate. And some companies do it out of order, but it should be pretty immediate. What are the most exciting bits of gaming for you? My backlog, and I think basically every new release I chose to play this year has been a fucking banger, so I've been really happy with that. The showcases this year were really great this summer, like really great. Like, I walked away just feeling so happy. Like, it was awesome. So that's another thing for me. I mentioned my backlog, like just breaking out the DS. That's been a ton of fun. You know, I'd like just finally being like, I'm going to fill that cup some more. I made a whole video talking on Retro Rebound about like going back to my DS and like what I'm targeting. And I started playing it and I got away from it. I'm like, I just need to stop neglecting these things, bro. Like, life is too precious. So that's a quick little answer. For the longest time, I always thought a prototype game by old Insomniac games Would have been perfect after Radical got laid off back in 2012. I mean, I like where your head's at. I like that we got a lot of prototype heads here. I feel like, again, with the rumors of that prototype remake, I've not yet given up on that. I feel like that's got to happen. The way with Atari and how they're moving, I feel like prototype remakes got to be coming from them. They're just like grabbing all these random old things and giving them remakes, giving them remasters. But just a new prototype game in general would be great. Speaking of curse, keep the Green Reaper away from DD for the next year, please. I was thinking about bringing Brad back if we could this week and just seeing where things went. You know? Like we tested him after the showcase and it just got really bad. It got really bad. But I don't know, like until Xbox can beat that curse. They just can't, how do I put it? Until they beat the curse, nothing they do matters. Because they'll otherwise be subject to Brad's will constantly. My holy trinity of RPGs, Final Fantasy 7, 10, and Skies of Arcadia. I really hope they remake Final Fantasy 10 and Skies of Arcadia in similar way that Final Fantasy 7 was made. Yeah, that's one that I know a lot of people love. I don't know anything about Skies of Arcadia. I just know it was like a highly sought after collector's item for a lot of people too. But I know literally like nothing. Nothing. I don't know what makes it special, why so many people love it. I don't even think I know what platform it's on. Was that Dreamcast or GameCube? I don't even know. I really don't. Let me know though. Have you heard that the same studio for prototype remake is rumored to be working on Simpsons Hit and Run remake / remaster as well? Oh, then it's got to be New Radical working on that stuff. Oh, that'll be interesting. This is more honesty than Phil had with Blackbird. Yeah, maybe. Publisher, developer, and console manufacturers like judge, jury, executioner. Heavy words from Chin here. We need to track down the Sunset Overdrive bus Insomniac made years ago. Yeah, I wonder where that is. That's a good point. King Droid. Outside of the big core Xbox studio, or outside the big core studios, Halo, Coalition, Playground, id, Bethesda, what studio would you be most upset being shut down alongside the three mentioned? I mean, it really is Arcane. I love Arcane. I think it was tragic that we even lost Austin. They already got rid of Tango. I love Tango. Machine Games. I think that would be, I fucking love Machine Games, dude. They make such good video games. Like, and they proved it with Indiana Jones. Like, let them do what they want to do and they will deliver, because they did Youngblood. It's like, this is totally not their type of game. It sucked. Everything they did before and after that has been amazing. I think Machine Games would hit me the most. I'd be like, fuck, man. Yeah, anything from Bethesda. Obsidian's a good one as well, King Droid. Like, I think you could throw Obsidian in there. I just don't, I guess. Yeah, I guess that would be my answer too, because I just haven't processed. I don't even think that's a reality. Shutting them down? They're the only ones this generation who ship games consistently. It wouldn't seem real. I think, yeah, maybe Obsidian, but just like Obsidian or Machine Games. Bethesda Game Studios would, I know you have it here on the list of I can't pick them, but like Bethesda Game Studios I'd probably fucking cry. I'd probably cry if Bethesda Game Studios shut down, man. That'd be so sad. Is it at risk? I don't know, Dan. Didn't seem like Doom the Dark Ages did very well. Although different games, the content comparison of Forza Horizon 6 versus Mario Kart World is embarrassing. The open world was massive, wasted opportunity. Yeah. I know they're different games, but yeah, I think it's comparable because they're both open world racing games and they should have, at least one of them should have more content. All right, here we go. Do you think the same influencers cheering for the ill-conceived acquisitions plan to pay all the poor employees about to be laid off due to Xbox's leadership mismanagement and incompetence? No. No, I think, though, that people are allowed to champion that stuff and change. Like, dude, I mean, you're basically, like, talking about me. And if you're super chatting $10, I would imagine that you enjoy what I do. But I totally was one of those people. I wouldn't call myself an influencer by any fucking stretch of the imagination. But I was definitely for Bethesda being purchased because I thought Bethesda lost their way. I thought the partnership made sense with what Bethesda used to do when they were teamed up with Xbox. And I thought that would link up fine. And I was wrong. And I was also, I mean, I was definitely interested in where Activision would go. because I thought it would lead to more legacy IP. My view of the acquisitions and mergers and acquisitions by Xbox was incredibly fucking naive. And I think the difference is not a lot of people can admit that. So I think that would only do these people some good. Is like, yeah, they shouldn't be paying their bills, but they should admit that they were wrong. I mean, I was wrong. It's just that fucking simple. It's a good question here. Mr. Matty influences, yes. Buy things, please. I know it's cold, but I'm down for these Xbox changes if it means I get waterboarded into Halo content. Thanks for getting me through work. I mean, dude, like, you're speaking your truth, and I can't hate it. I think more Halo content that doesn't involve Halo Studios would be fucking awesome. Top 5 home-cooked meals of all time. We're not going down the mac and cheese route here again, bro. Last stream was fucking crazy. All right. My mom's lasagna. Nothing better. Nothing better. My wife's an amazing cook too. My wife's an amazing baker. Oh. My wife makes a French onion sourdough bread. That's up there. My wife also makes sourdough pizza. That's so good. Oh my god. Anything Italian food, clearly. Yeah. I don't know if I got 5 off the top of the dome, I'll be honest with you. Trying to think of, like, staples in the Mr. Matty household. Creamed onions. I gotta show you guys a picture of this. I gotta get chat's opinion. Creamed onions. Alright. Are these pause-worthy foods? Chat, just let a guy know. Are these pause-worthy foods? My friends cook me up all the time when I'm like, yo, I love creamed onions. And they're like, yo, that's... I mean, it's fine, right? I've never seen this kind of version with a lot of seasoning on top. This is a staple during Thanksgiving season for me. Creamed onions. I love creamed onions. I don't know if this is pause food, though. So, that would be my last answer. I don't know if I got a 5th food. I'm a little scared. H-Mon says it looks good, eh? Hang on now. Insane combination of words. You think creamed onions? Come on. Plasma Steak's like, I probably taste good. Ruben, you can't be hitting me with the fuck, bro. Like, come on now. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of open-mindedness in chat. I really thought this was going to be disastrous for me. It looks good. I'd give it a shot. Maybe not the best name, but I think I'd try it. Bro, salivating about creamed onions. I didn't say that. I didn't say, yo, I'm drooling over the creamed onions or anything pause-worthy. I didn't go there with it. You went there, dog. You did, okay? Let's be very clear about who made it pause-worthy. And it was not me. Looks fine. You need to be medicated? Oh my god, come on now. I hate any onions. Okay, Ruben, I get that. You hate any onions? Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense now. That's fair. Mr. Matty Creams. No. You guys are making me regret this real fast. Jojo, we caught the highlight reel on Locke's Twitter account. It was quite great. Okay. Come on. White gruel? Come on now. That's not what it is. It's creamed onions. That's enough for you. Get out of here. Thank you for your super chat. Do you think this is the most promising year yet for Xbox in terms of potential award success and Game of the Year nominations with Halo, Gears, and Horizon 6? I'm curious if the press who votes on this stuff will include Forza. Gears has potential. It's releasing at a time where it's able to be voted in. Pardon me. And I don't think Halo... Oh my god, dude. There we go. I don't think Halo touches any of the nominees. Personally. So I think their optics are looking better. And certainly next year with things like Fable and Clockwork, I think their odds are rising. Hey, do we have to call it creamed onions instead of creamy onions? I feel like Restlessness, I'm going to be real with you, I think creamy onions is a little worse. You know? My dream is a new Def Jam game and or Gauntlet. Def Jam would be sick. Yeah, Def Jam would be sick. I saw that was in like the back compat wish list. I think, let me grab it. I think I saw Pure Xbox. Let's see here. Yeah, here it is. These are the top 10 Xbox back compat vote requests after 750,000 votes. And Def Jam Fight for New York, right there, number 6. I like that the Spider-Man games are here. That's awesome. Simpsons Hit and Run is kind of crazy at number 1, but I get it. 360 title was dominated by Transformers games. Skylanders was, oh, wow, cool. Non-franchise list, Alpha Protocol, Wet, yeah, cool. Saboteur, cool. But yeah, there's clearly a demand for Def Jam. So maybe something will happen there. Do you think showcasing a Ninja Theory game and then announcing the studio shutdown less than 2 weeks later is a bit cruel? I'm in disbelief, honestly. That's a fucking 1000% cruel. Yeah, like, unless, again, we don't know the inside baseball. It could be like, hey, we're going to shut you down, but this will at least let investors see your game. It's the only thing I can think of. Do studios account for sales and their expectations? Outer World 1 sold most of its copies on sales. Are expectations from Xbox/Sony too short-sighted? I don't know the answer to this. I imagine they look at the dollars and the volume of sales. I don't know if they track like when the sales came in though. Like, oh, this made X amount of they have to know like when certain sales boosted. Maybe they have a year-by-year breakdown. That could help too. I would have to imagine though studios account for it to some extent. But also like the late-term support can get people to buy in too. Because it shows that there is like a hardcore community that's willing to back it. That word of mouth really helped it. And that's kind of what you might just need to get a second game greenlit. Tough question. I actually don't know the answer. Because I don't work in these buildings. I wish we had access to this data. Have you ever had baked mastocoli? I make a mean mastocoli dish. It's my all-time comfort food. What the fuck is that? That's how I'm feeling when you guys hear me talking about creamed onions. I'm really scared to Google this. If you guys are trolling me on this. Mastocoli. All right, it actually is it's a pasta dish. What? Wait. Let's assess mastocoli. What do you guys think? Oh, hang on, wrong one. Let me get rid of this. Is he cooking? This looks pretty good. Okay, what's the difference between this and... Oh, it's got like meats in it, looks like. Or is that eggplant? Little big ZD energy. I don't know. For us Italians, bro, it's like you throw a little tomato sauce in there, a little cheese in there, a little pasta in there. Call it whatever you want. I'm eating it. I think I'm eating this. I just want to know the difference. This is new to me. I think I'm mispronouncing it too. So, wait, what is this? The Mastocoli and the sausage toss. Anyway, that's enough of that. It ain't no creamed onions. That's true. Let me get this last Matty slot video underway here, guys. Just want to make sure I round that out. Okay. Feel free to spam your mean emojis in the chat here as I get rolling here with Steam Machine stuff, and then we'll round things out. All right. We haven't talked about the Steam Machine in a while. Zippy, I think there's a chance of a new Sly game at Sanzaru with the former Sanzaru developers. I think that would be very interesting. Make a lot of sense. Okay. Let's do this, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to some Matty Slop. Today, we're actually not talking about Xbox or PlayStation for once. I was looking at some of our last posts on the channel, and it's all just these two big platform holders and the extreme moves they've been making. Everything from rumored infamous remakes to Xbox burning it all down, PlayStation shutting down Bluepoint. It's not been a pretty year for either of them. But today, we're talking about neither of them. We're talking about one of our favorites, Valve, where we're catching up on some of the Steam Machine news here. This is something that I've been tracking closely because a Steam Machine still makes sense for my use case, which is I game a lot at my PC. This chair you see me in right now, I'm in this like 24/7. I sometimes like to, believe it or not, be in other rooms in my house. Having access to my Steam library in other rooms, especially given that I do a lot of game reviews, and sometimes the default platform that you get it for is PC, or that's the soonest available one. So that makes it where it's like, if I can play my games in a different room, kick my feet up on the couch, you can see behind me, dude. All I got is this low back seat that I inherited from my wife's boss. That's the best I've got. You know, this isn't a great gaming setup. You think I'd have a better gaming setup by this point, but nonetheless, I'm on a tangent now. Steam Machine makes sense for me. Price tag is a question mark. Today, we're starting to see more rumblings that things are on the way. We've got new comments from Valve to go over. We've got some discoveries that have happened on the back end by some Valve sourcers. We've got pricing rumors we'll talk about. And then we've got a leaked benchmark, which shows that this thing is out and about in the wild. So let's take a look, shall we? Let's start off with Valve's official comments, and then we'll work our way into the rumor mill. So Valve posted this update here. And they said the Steam Machine and Steam Frame standalone verified. We are expanding the verified program to include the Steam Machine and Steam Frame. It's really the opening sentences here when it comes to the Steam Machine that are most important. Say, hello. Today, we are expanding the verified program to include Steam Machine and Steam Frame, both of which are shipping this summer. That's really all you need to know. But we'll finish the comment here anyway. As with Steam Deck Verified, the goal is to help customers understand the out-of-the-box experience for a given title on these new devices and how smoothly a game will run with no user work or configuration required. So if you have a Steam Deck, you know this. If you don't, basically there's a little check mark next to your games that are in your Steam Deck library. If they're Steam Deck Verified, you really don't have to do any tinkering whatsoever. Most of the tinkering that I've had to do with my Steam Deck has been pretty minimal, all things considered. Sometimes you can put it on like a more experimental mode and that'll run things a little bit better. Sometimes you have to tweak certain settings, use AI upscalers differently. Each one is a little bit different, but when they come out of the box as a sort of Steam Deck verified game, or in this case, Steam Machine verified, that's good news. It means fired up, this thing is going to work, and that's usually driven by the community. And sometimes you'll see like the little yellow marking like Steam Deck playable. A lot of times these playable games run just fine, but maybe like the UI is scaled down, so it's kind of like it's meeting the mark of quality that you'd expect or that you'd want out of a handheld. And so Steam Machine is getting that. But the key point here is Valve is doubling down on this shipping this summer. Okay, so we're narrowing it a bit. This was a little bit in question given how things have been moving with consumer electronic parts and the rumors surrounding Valve's price tag. Why do people think that this is launching so soon? Well, the reason that is because, and I'm talking like some people are thinking this month. I'm giving them July. I'm thinking July. But here's something that sadly it's Bradley caught, which he posted on Twitter, which is that Steam's Welcome Tour was added to the Steam backend last night. And you can see a little bit of that here. You know, here's the Steam Machine. It's equipped with a micro SD slot. It's giving you the general walkthrough for everything. Why is this important? Well, again, if you don't have a Steam Deck, you might not know this, but the Welcome Tour is what plays the first time you boot up a device with Steam OS. So we've got that being tested. We've got that on the back end last night. This tweet, as you can see, was May 30th. So things are moving quickly. This post from Valve was June 4th. So we're moving along here where, again, some people think it's going to ship this month. I think we maybe get an announcement this month, but again, I'm going more July or August. I feel like Valve is moving forward with their plans. The question then lies in price tag. This is a tough one because I don't think Valve is going to be a hero. And why is that the case? Well, Mike Straw, among many other insiders, have suggested that this price tag is going to be high. Now, for those who don't know, Mike Straw works at Insider Gaming. He's been part of numerous scoops. A recent one that just randomly comes to mind for me is the Lord of the Rings scoop he had, that there was a game being made with the Lord of the Rings license, that there might be one that isn't by Warhorse, that is being made by Crystal Dynamics, which is crazy. They have a bunch of games going on. But anyway, he's been attached to a lot of rumors. We also talked about him with the Xbox news recently, where he was the first to bring Arcane Leon to the table when it came to a conversation on studio shutdowns. Now, with all this in mind, Mike Straw has written that Valve has confirmed Steam Machine will launch this summer after pushing it out of the spring. A price, however, hasn't been announced. I have heard rumblings that the price is nowhere near where it was originally planned, but I don't know what that is. So it leaves room for speculation on what the price tag could be. I think it's fair to not lean in a positive direction here. If what we've seen with the Steam Deck price jump was anything to go by, we're talking about a console or a handheld, that came out years ago and is now like, what, $300 more expensive to purchase? It's unbelievable, dude. So Valve, who no doubt doesn't have a great supplier deal, who wasn't trying to take over the living room in the first place, is now moving forward with a Steam Machine, and I think it's going to be take it or leave it type pricing. Like $1,500. That's where my head's at. And frankly, that might be generous for what's supposed to be a 4K gaming device, right? Capable of 4K play. I don't know. And the one thing that could offset this, when we were all excited, right? I'm still excited, but I get why this has taken a lot of people like off the board. They're like, I'll wait, see that price. But Matty, if that price you're filling out there is what we're getting, even for like the lowest SKU, like $1,300, I think 1,000 plus puts a lot of people out of it. They're like, I don't need it. I don't need it. Why not just go build a PC then? That price tag is killer, dude. And so I don't think there's heroes here. I think there's nothing Valve can really do. And I think the one thing that they can use to offset it is Half-Life 3. This is when we were like peak excitement, like, oh shit, Valve's going to do it. Like, what, $500, $800 max? Hell yeah. Get me that Steam Machine right now. We all felt pretty confident that this being Half-Life 3 would be a launch title. Is that still the case? I wonder. Because it would certainly offset pricing. Time will tell. But I feel like whatever we learn about Half-Life 3, it's just going to be dropped out of nowhere. But yeah, again, I'm leaning. My expectations went from very optimistic to very pessimistic. I'm thinking 1,500. Now, with all that, another reason why people think the Steam Machine is inbound very, very soon, right? There's soon based on what Valve told us, summer, which ends in September. But there's also very, very soon, like next month. And that's because of this pickup here by Windows Central, where we learned that there was a Geekbench test result that had leaked out for the Steam Machine. This was basically a benchmark. And so I'm not going to pretend I look at this right here and I go, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm looking at here. I am still new to this whole side of the hardware and what I'm actually looking at. Now, fortunately, Windows Central was kind to people like myself and provided this chart here, which is just breaking things down a little bit better. So what you've got here are, again, those same scores. The higher ones are the better performers. The lower ones are the worst performers. In the middle of this pack here, below it, you've got the Xbox Ally, you've got the Steam Deck, you've got the Lenovo Legion Go, and then right above it, you've got the Steam Machine. So it's more powerful than, say, something like, last-gen handhelds. But what's beating out is the latest handhelds, like the Ally X, like the ROG Ally, that sort of stuff. Again, I'm not going to pretend I fully look at this and go, I completely comprehend it. But the basic specs here is that, first and foremost, 6 cores, 12 threads, a boost clock of up to 4.86 gigahertz for their CPU, and a GPU RDNA 3 featuring 8 gigabytes of VRAM. We already knew out the box this thing wasn't mega powerful, kind of dependent on developer optimization, but it should be getting some games generally decent performance. But now the problem is I'm floating $1,500. Are you paying $1,500 for that? I don't know if a lot of people would want to. So there's just that element. All that aside, it's all pure speculation. What I think is the real takeaway from a benchmark like this leaking is that this thing is out there and being tested. And that's why it puts it in that kind of 1.5 month window. Maybe early August is when this thing arrives. And you have to think again of the Half-Life 3 factor. If Valve wants to launch Half-Life 3 with this, they also have to be cognizant of something like GTA 6, right? So there's also that factor. Plus, I don't know if they're expecting to sell a metric ton of these Steam Machine units. So there's a lot in play here, but we're getting updates. There's a lot of rumbling. Shout out to the homie Jimmy Champagne who runs Deck Ready. He's no doubt been keeping us all updated on what's going on with Valve and their hardware. But nonetheless, that's what we've got to share today. Price still remains an uncertainty, but I think, again, if you look at what we've got here from Mike Straw, it's nowhere near where it was originally planned. Let's take optimistic guesses, which was 800 to 900. If it's nowhere near, we're maybe doubling that. That's what would put me out of it. If we're closing in on 2,000, I'm out. You know, right now y'all are making the Xbox Ally look like this gift of a price tag. And frankly, if you look at the original Xbox Ally open box on Best Buy, it's like 400 something bucks. So this just new hardware. It's the back and forth that we always have. The best time to buy this hardware will be at launch if what we're experiencing in consumer electronics is anything to go by. So you have to look at that $1,500 price tag and realize that Valve might be in a year charging you $2,000. You know? Because if what Asha Sharma said was anything to go by, she's saying that prices are going to go up even more in 2027. So if we thought these price jumps like Valve was doing like $300 was crazy, what is 500? Again, I'm not trying to doom them. I'm still very interested. But it's really hard to look at this and feel optimistic about what started off when we got this announcement, like November, like, fuck yeah. You know, Xbox looked like they were pulling out. We're like, here, they see the power vacuum. They're going for it. This is going to be crazy. Like, they're finally doing it. We saw the proof of concept with the Steam Deck. Here we go. Half-Life 3 rumors. I'm all in, baby. And then AI happened. You just don't hate AI enough, man. And you got people like Satya Nadella sitting there going, yeah, with AI in the cloud, it's made it really tough on Xbox and hardware. Again, brother, you did that. That is on you, dude. Nonetheless, this is what's going on in the world of Valve and the Steam Machine. Too long didn't read. Not much longer now. And we'll see what the news officially is probably within the next month or so. Chat, I want to hear from you. What do you make of what's going on here with Valve and the Steam Machine? Let's get the music rolling once more. And I'd love to hear from you guys on, I don't know if this is an ally of Xbox or an enemy. I don't know. I don't know. There was a point they were best friends. Now Xbox is kind of pulling this whole reclusive strategy out of their ass. So I don't know. Beats me. I'd love to hear from you all. Let me check if I missed any super chats. Okay, I did not. Cool. Was excited about that price? Hell no. Yeah. How much is the confirmed price for Steam Machine? Black Mama, we do not have a confirmed price tag yet. Hardware prices are depressing. I agree, Ryan. It's not a good PC, especially at the projected price. Yep. How do we destroy AI once and for all? We'll lead the charge, Francisco. We'll follow you. I have to look into a ROG now. Yeah. I mean, this is a great exercise in consumer patience and just really letting us, with these high prices in gaming, turning into Country Club Gaming, we're like a lot of learning of, I don't really need that. I'm good. Yeah, Anton's saying the truth. All new hardware in the next 12 months is dead on arrival. Yeah, it's going to be tough. That's why, again, I think launching this with Half-Life 3 is like one of the best things they can do for themselves is like the software sales will be pretty nice. Let me get this over to Emmett. Okay. Yeah, man. The slot news items have been getting gobbled up by Xbox because there's just so much to talk about in the main channel that we've had less news to talk about on like the slop channel. But I mean, those are your two for the day. We'll have them out over the next couple of days, and then we'll see what else pops up on like Thursday if we can fill in that gap, and then keep that going into Friday. Hmon, good question. Are you more hyped to play Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess for the first time? I've played Twilight Princess, so I guess by default Majora's Mask, but I do like Twilight's been so long it may as well be my first time. Majora's Mask, though, a lot of people say is like my type of Zelda game. Frenchie says, really want to know your TMNT last run and game feature wish list. Linear. Let's start with that. Definitely linear. Definitely more like segmented, like a Ninja Gaiden 4. I like that Ninja Gaiden 4 also had the 4 different weapons you could swap between with the D-pad. I think doing that with the turtle would be awesome. So you could switch between Sai, Nunchuck, bow staff, etc. I think that would be fucking awesome. So throw that in the mix. I think blood is a must. I know that's, if anyone who read the comic knows that's for sure a thing it needs, but I think like dismemberment, like total M rated. Cell shaded comic book art style. I think it needs that. Excellent flashback storytelling. I think Platinum Games cannot fuck up the storytelling here. They cannot. Better replayability. I don't think Ninja Gaiden 4 had the usually very confident replayability that Platinum Games have. I think they're still learning as a young team. I know they've been around for a while, but this new squad that they've got is really young. I want a little bit more replayability. I thought Ninja Gaiden 4 was just like one mode. I think better side content as well. Like the discoverable arenas were fine, but I think a little bit better side content and collectibles would be cool too. That'd be my quick wish list. Praying for Naruto Rise of a Ninja to hit back of bad. So goated, man. I agree. I fucking love the Ubisoft Naruto run is so underrated. What keeps you playing games? They're just fun. I mean, they're the stories. They're fun. It's all I've ever done, dude. Like I love gaming. I've loved gaming since I was like 3 years old. It's just what I know I love. Like there's no question about it. It's my job too now, but like it's not really a job half the time when I'm just playing stuff other than like, oh, it's taking me away from this other thing maybe that I wanted to play. And that's only something I feel usually when I'm reviewing a really bad game and I'm like, oh man, like I'm really just cooking my life right now. So pretty simple. Rion, thank you again for your super chat. Do you think the recent studio failures and shutdowns will make studios more hesitant to be acquired by Xbox or other major publishers? Oh, fucking absolutely, dude. Yeah, totally. Good call out here, bro. Absolutely. I think that's what's going to motivate people to get their budgets in order, because I think it's like we cannot go crawl into these companies because they just see how these strategies change on a dime. Especially with Xbox, it's like safety net just disappears, right? Not that everyone should be safe forever. I think that's unrealistic in a business environment, but I do think they're going to be wary. I think some companies companies like Bungie were aware they were just selling a fucking golden parachute, and it's like, okay, we're out. Thanks, guys. And that's just like a horrible purchase by PlayStation. But otherwise, I mean, Activision kind of golden parachuted as well a bit. They sold Call of Duty and proceeded to put out 2 of the worst Call of Duties we've seen in Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 7. I don't know if it gets better. I hope Modern Warfare 4 is better. I'm not going to play it and find out. But yeah, I think there will no doubt be a hesitation for acquisition. Yeah, Jojo, he says, I paid $1,400 for a PC with a 4070 in it a couple of years ago. It's crazy to see how the hardware prices have gone. Yeah, I literally upgraded my PC right before the hardware price hike. I got like my 5070 in here, everything. Like I just went ham on my PC. It was like overall $2,700, I think. But that was that. My PC's now probably considered like a $4,000 or $5,000 rig, I'd have to imagine. MW2 2022 was way worse, Matty. MW3 at least got somewhat better. Really? I never played MW2 that much, so from what did I? I watched my brother play it. But MW3 just like, it can't fucking suck, dude. You were using battle royale maps for your campaign is so like fucking degenerate for the biggest IP on the planet to be doing. Like I can forgive asset reuse in any other case. I'm like, yeah, dude, be smart. But this is just like bad process written all over it. Turning fucking DLC into a full game, selling at full price. Ass. Hmon says, I just finished Duskfade demo and it's fantastic. Studio's first game and is a great mix of Kingdom Hearts and Jak and Daxter. Yeah, I'm really keen on this one. When does that come out? I saw my homie Gamers Joint did the recent trailer for them. Duskfade comes out August. Okay. Right in the thick of it. It does look good, though. Oh, campaign-wise, yeah. Yeah, Christopher, that's what I'm talking about. I know the multiplayer apparently was pretty good for MW3. I should factor that into my conversation more, but I just don't play COD multiplayer anymore. MW3 sold relatively well compared to Black Ops 7. Also true. Also true. This last year showed that... This last year really showed that as, like, other shooters and multiplayer games grow around Call of Duty, that is not invincible anymore. My pleasure, Claw. Thanks for being here, dude. Thanks for super chatting and hanging out. Hope the rest of your day is great. I think a similar PC to what I got is now 3K at least. That's crazy, Nurse Mayo. Yeah, like, it's just unbelievable. Because sometimes the specs we're paying for, not like disrespecting your PC, but sometimes the specs we're paying for are like decent. It's like, yeah, like that's a nice, you know, $1,800 PC. And it's like, oh, that's now like going 3.5. And it's like, yeah, dude, I'm good. There's got to be a cheaper way in, quicker, like sooner rather than later. I just can't keep going like this. We're at the point where gamers want to be part of the discourse, but it costs a lot to play multiple new releases. Backlogs are king when buying late at a discount. Yeah, I mean, that's why... I think that's why Retro Rebound just started to do really well again, when all of a sudden all these fucking shitty moves started happening in games, like $80 games, hiking prices on hardware. I've just noticed so many people were just like really interested in our retrospectives, which is awesome. I've been so proud of what we've done there, but like that was something I did notice. It's anecdotal. It's very small scale stuff, but like, I think it says a lot. What's the name of this song? Is it an ESO soundtrack? Ichigo, it is. Yes. What exactly it is, I don't know. I think... I'm listening. It's like some church-ass music. That's very nice of you, Frenchie. Thank you. I appreciate it. Chris says, nice seeing you streaming more, Matty. It was cool meeting you too when LSM went to San Diego. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I love meeting people from the audience. It's so awesome. My favorite part of that whole show we did was in the kind of in between, where like Cog and I got to sit down and like literally talk with people who were kind of like lining up. Like that was a really humbling experience, just seeing a line form, but also just like getting time to like put faces to names, shake hands. So just thanks for being there, dude. I really appreciate it. Is the Divinity music, Matty? Maybe? It's not Divinity Original Sin, but like this right now is definitely Skyrim. Chin asks, what did you learn from video game news that helped you run a studio? Process is king. I mean, I've experienced both ends of it. I've watched other teams have shit process, and we've had moments where our process has been shit and has prevented us from actual progress. So I think even just by watching, you don't learn until you do. You know, it's easy to say from like the armchair. But I think process and budget. But those are, I mean, the latter I was really tight on. And then, what else did Game News tell me? I'm trying to think what else did Game News tell me that really like helped what we do day to day. I don't think Game News really talks enough about the things that you really need to know to like run a team. Like that's my honest assessment. Like I was just talking to one of our artists about it last night because he was asking me a little bit about he was like, hey, I'm just like checking in because we're making some decent progress here. He's like, when you start talking about this, like how are you going to show it? Like, what are we thinking with all this? Like, because we have to re-export some assets to kind of like put them in certain places and like not just only do in-game stuff. So it's like for quote marketing, I hate the term, sorry, end quote. But I was kind of talking about how like I wanted to just kind of give a peek behind the curtain on things and like really bring everyone into what we do and how we did it. Like, you know, start more general, like here's the game, here's what it's doing, here's what we're thinking, here's our philosophy. And then kind of drill into some of the questions from that comment in a follow-up video. And from there, kind of just pull the curtain back and let people know. I don't want to put people on the hook for like, here, join us for like a 19-month development cycle. That's not what I want to do. I think that's what the game news helped me on. People don't like long development cycles. They don't like to feel them. I don't think people like to feel them. I think they want you here often. And if you're able to provide that, you'll be better for it. Especially if you communicate with them honestly, which I think is another thing that game news taught me. I think honesty and integrity are more valuable than any sort of dollar amount you can earn. Because once it's the same thing as what I do here. If I lost you guys, that's it. I'm fucked. Like, that's it. Like, I like so many creators get to a point where like, I don't need my audience. And I'm like, I don't know how the fuck you get there, bro. I don't know why you'd want to get there. You're nothing without them. So same deal with game development. It's like we're nothing without our audience. So we need to make sure this is for them and that they're respected every step of the way. So that's also what game news taught me. I don't think a lot of publishers at least respect their audiences. With all these cuts, does it mean Halo gets a truly dedicated studio instead of the slop that is 343? Will be nice to not have constant outsourcing. Yeah, I think outsourcing is step one, though. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I think step one is like Virtuos doing the Elder Scrolls remasters. Like, I think they're going to continue that stuff. I think that's very much like just, I think it's an easy fix. And then maybe you stand up, like, again, I think from Fallout's point of view, like, it makes sense why Fallout would have a studio called like Vault Studios or something like that. This is a dedicated Fallout studio making single player Fallout games. Halo, though, getting like a dedicated studio, it's funny because Halo Studios is a dedicated Halo studio. It's just they're not a great one. That said, I mean, like Halo Campaign Evolved is looking solid. I was talking to Dan about it. I was about to produce a video on, Dan's our editor for this channel, by the way. I was about to produce a video on Halo Campaign Evolved. I think this is shaping up, but I'm not going to do that until I play the game for myself. I'd rather put my foot in my mouth when the game is out and see where it goes from there. Which, again, I don't even know if they get credit for that because they're not even like heavily involved in the development. Apparently, it's all been outsourced. So, as Zensha has written here. But I was like, let me wait till the game comes out and then I'll give a more definitive take on where I feel with this. This has the potential to be like very wishy-washy if the game ends up sucking. But I hope they do. It's just they kind of already technically have one. So, fuck, man. Hmon's right. Outsourcing is Microsoft's favorite way to doing work. Anyways, guys, it's we've been live for almost 3 hours. This is a lot of fun again. Thanks for showing up. I'm getting a little hungry now. It's 7 p.m. where I'm at, so I'm gonna jet and get some food. I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking. There'll be more Matty Slop this Friday. As always, we stream every Tuesday and Friday. We appreciate everyone who's been turning out. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but no doubt it'll involve the world of Xbox if the news has been anything to go by lately. But we appreciate you being here, man. Thanks to all the very generous super chats. You guys like really had a huge outpouring of support. I kind of can't believe it. So just thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Look forward to some reposts on Slop for the Steam Deck news as well, or Steam Machine news, sorry, as well as the Xbox news. Uncharted Wolf, thank you for your work. I know you're tired, bro, so thank you. But the rest of you, thanks for becoming members. Thanks for super chatting, and just take good care of yourselves. We'll be back next Friday. Video tomorrow for sure, so look out for that. But otherwise, I'll catch you all real soon. Hugs and kisses. Peace out, y'all.